keren sih Bu, apalagi seorang perempuan dengan background yang berbeda jadi teknisi tuh keren. Saya di Surya ini sebagai field engineer. Nah, kegiatan saya sehari-hari biasanya itu ada survei site visit, kemudian ada quality control, ada sistem tes, juga ada regular maintenance, itu ketika sudah beroperasi, dan juga ada unplanned maintenance, dan juga kita tuh sebagai support SLO dan lain sebagainya.
Saya awal dari D3, Teknik Konversi Energi di Politeknik Negeri Jakarta. Kemudian saya melanjutkan pendidikan ke D4, Teknologi Rekayasa Konversi Energi juga yang bekerja sama dengan pihak ESD.
Program yang baik atau strategi apapun yang namanya, itu nanti hanya akan bisa dilakukan ketika kita berbicara dalam level kontak implementasi. Implementasi hanya bisa terjadi kalau ada orangnya. Jadi keberadaan AESD yang ada di kita saat ini dengan bekerjasama dengan pemerintah Indonesia, dalam hal ini BPSDM yang menjadi sentral untuk diskusi ya di depan. Ini kita melihat bahwa ini sangat membantu sekali dengan program percepatan, khususnya bagaimana bauran energi ke depan nanti seperti apa, khususnya dari penyiapan tenaga kerjanya. Jadi bukan hanya tenaga kerja yang biasa-biasa ya, tapi tenaga kerja yang terampil yang sesuai dengan note yang akan kita sampaikan seperti apa. Jadi sebenarnya sekali lagi saya juga mengapresiasi nih adanya AESD, itu akhirnya kita menggiring semuanya untuk bermain di lapangan yang sama dengan aturan yang sama.
Beyond producing skilled human resources, RISD helps Indonesia develop its enormous renewable energy potentials while contributing to reducing greenhouse emissions. So as you know, Switzerland has a long history of combining education and industry needs, and that expertise is at the heart of the RISD project. Our approach, vocational education, is all about aligning classroom learning with real-world demands. We have brought this model to Indonesia through partnerships with local vocational institutions, Swiss universities of applied sciences, and the Swiss Federal University of Vocational Education have been working closely with their Indonesian counterparts to develop industry-relevant curricula, to train lecturers, and to upgrade training facilities with input from the renewable energy industry.
Proyek RISD ini dalam kebijakan ekonomi hijau di Indonesia sudah ada dalam RPJMN tahun 2020 sampai dengan 2024, yaitu terkait dengan peningkatan kualitas lingkungan, kemudian peningkatan ketahanan terhadap bencana dan juga perubahan iklim, serta terkait dengan penurunan karbon.
Rata-rata mahasiswa kami adalah dari geothermal, kemudian dari PLN. Jadi rata-rata yang sudah bekerja, kemudian ada tuntutan dari perusahaannya untuk mempunyai pengetahuan shifting begitu ya, atau transisi dari migas kemudian ke EBT.
Dukungannya sangat banyak dan kita merasa sangat bermanfaat ya. Jadi dalam 2-3 tahun terakhir ada 4 politeknik ya yang dibantu dalam bentuk peralatan dan juga pelatihan-pelatihan untuk mempersiapkan tenaga atau sumber daya pengajar bidang PLTS atau tenaga surya dan PLTA atau tenaga air ya. Dari situ kita melihat memang ada manfaat-manfaat yang dirasakan dan 4 politeknik ini juga sudah bisa menjalankan program itu dengan berasal dari lulusan-lulusan diploma 3 yang berlatar belakang teknik. Ya bisa sipil, bisa listrik, ya bisa mesin. Karena pada dasarnya pembangkit listrik tenaga surya dan pembangkit listrik tenaga air itu membutuhkan latar belakang dari bidang-bidang tersebut. Nah selama 1 tahun mereka kemudian dididik dengan materi khusus tentang teknologi tenaga surya dan tenaga air. Kemudian mereka memiliki bekal untuk bisa bekerja ya di bidang-bidang tersebut. Capstone ini kita kenal kalau di bidang pendidikan vokasi itu adalah project based learning. Mereka ini akan diluluskan sebagai lulusan diploma 4. Jadi harus memiliki kemampuan untuk menganalisis.
Saya merasa kayak saya tuh masih kuliah karena bener-bener sama kayak yang saya pelajari, apalagi waktu capstone project di RSD itu ya udah kayak gitu, sama, bener-bener sama, sistemnya sama, yang saya hitung pun juga sama, jadi seperti lagi kuliah aja.
Untuk mata kuliah yang relevan dengan sekarang yang saya kerjakan itu lumayan banyak. Seperti kayak survei pemetaan, salah satu mata kuliah yang mengajarkan saya bagaimana caranya survei yang baik, itu juga ada di drafter kan. Karena kita juga harus mengukur data aktual yang ada di lapangan tentunya. Lalu juga ada mata kuliah Renewable Energy Power Plant System, di mana itu juga mengajarkan tentang sistem yang ada di PLTS tentunya. Yang saya dapatkan itu untuk mengetahui dan menentukan komponen apa yang digunakan dalam PLTS. Lalu tentunya juga ada mata kuliah standar dan peraturan, di mana dalam proses desain dan menggambar, tentunya kita harus mengikuti standar dan peraturan yang ada, agar dalam desain ini sesuai lah dengan apa yang kebutuhan proyek itu. Pada setiap proyek ini mempunyai karakteristik yang berbeda tentunya. Karena perbedaan karakteristik ini terjadilah beberapa kasus-kasus seperti peletakan panel surya atau jalur kabel yang agak rumit. Namun ketika saya berhasil melakukan dan menggambar desain tersebut dari proyek tersebut, itu memiliki rasa kepuasan tersendiri.
Kita menginginkan dengan website ini menjadi hub untuk kita saling memberikan informasi, terutama dengan perkembangan terkini. Jadi learning hub, learning center apa sih sebenarnya akan kita dapatkan di situ. Jadi ini penting bagi kita. Ini hub ini nanti kan kita bisa pakai juga untuk bisa sharing kira-kira ada lowongan kerja di mana saja nih sebenarnya. Karena endingnya kan begitu. Kalau kita lihat sekolah setinggi apapun juga kan pertanyaannya diterima kerja nggak? Gitu. Nah, platform ini akan memberikan informasi yang komplit.
Kemudian sudah sejak tahun 2021 sudah ada sekitar 42 instruktur yang dilakukan pelatihan oleh pemerintah Swiss, dan ini pelatihannya cukup intensif karena hampir 1 tahun sudah ada 440 orang yang mengikuti pelatihan terkait dengan pembangkit listrik tenaga surya ini, dan sudah ada beberapa peserta pelatihan yang sudah diterima di dunia industri. Dan ini tentunya kami sangat mendukung terkait dengan capaian-capaian yang telah dilakukan, dan semoga kedepannya kerjasama ini bisa dilakukan dengan lebih baik lagi.
Itu masa depan energi terbarukan di Indonesia ini sangat menjanjikan. Terutama juga kan di Indonesia ini mempunyai sumber daya alam yang melimpah, namun juga terdapat beberapa tantangan seperti infrastruktur yang belum memadai atau regulasi yang harus diperbarui. Nah, untuk agar kedepannya ini sektor energi terbarukan ini kuat di masa yang akan datang.
Saya ingin menjadi teknisi perempuan yang handal sih. Keren sih Bu, apalagi seorang perempuan dengan background yang berbeda jadi teknisi tuh keren. Saya di Surya ini sebagai field engineer. Nah, kegiatan saya sehari-hari biasanya itu ada survei site visit, kemudian ada quality control, ada sistem tes, juga ada regular maintenance, itu ketika sudah beroperasi, dan juga ada unplanned maintenance, dan juga kita tuh sebagai support SLO dan lain sebagainya.
Saya awal dari D3, Teknik Konversi Energi di Politeknik Negeri Jakarta. Kemudian saya melanjutkan pendidikan ke D4, Teknologi Rekayasa Konversi Energi juga, yang bekerja sama dengan pihak ESD.
Program yang baik atau strategi apapun yang namanya, itu nanti hanya akan bisa dilakukan ketika kita berbicara dalam level kontak implementasi. implementasi hanya bisa terjadi kalau ada orangnya. Jadi keberadaan AESI yang ada di kita saat ini dengan bekerjasama dengan pemerintah Indonesia, dalam hal ini BPSDM yang menjadi sentral untuk diskusi ya di depan, ini kita melihat bahwa ini sangat membantu sekali dengan program percepatan, khususnya bagaimana bauran energi ke depan nantinya seperti apa, khususnya dari penyiapan tenaga kerjanya. Jadi bukan hanya tenaga kerja yang biasa-biasa ya, tapi tenaga kerja yang terampil yang sesuai dengan note yang akan kita sampaikan seperti apa. Jadi sebenarnya sekali lagi saya juga mengapresiasi nih adanya AESI itu akhirnya kita menggiring semuanya untuk bermain di lapangan yang sama dengan aturan yang sama.
Beyond producing skilled human resources, RISD helps Indonesia develop its enormous renewable energy potentials while contributing to reducing greenhouse emissions. So, as you know, Switzerland has a long history of combining education and industry needs, and that expertise is at the heart of the RISD project. Our approach, vocational education, is all about aligning classroom learning with real-world demands. We have brought this model to Indonesia through partnerships with local vocational institutions, Swiss universities of applied sciences, and the Swiss Federal University of Vocational Education have been working closely with their Indonesian counterparts to develop industry-relevant curricula, to train lecturers and to upgrade training facilities with input from the renewable energy industry.
Proyek RISD ini dalam kebijakan ekonomi hijau di Indonesia sudah ada dalam RPJMN tahun 2020 sampai dengan 2024, yaitu terkait dengan peningkatan kualitas lingkungan, kemudian peningkatan ketahanan terhadap bencana dan juga perubahan iklim serta terkait dengan penurunan karbon.
Rata-rata mahasiswa kami adalah dari geothermal, kemudian dari PLN. Jadi rata-rata yang sudah bekerja, kemudian ada tuntutan dari perusahaannya untuk mempunyai pengetahuan shifting begitu ya, atau transisi dari migas kemudian ke ebt.
Dukungannya sangat banyak dan kita merasa sangat bermanfaat. Jadi dalam 2-3 tahun terakhir ada 4 politeknik ya yang dibantu dalam bentuk peralatan dan juga pelatihan-pelatihan untuk mempersiapkan tenaga atau sumber daya pengajar bidang PLTS atau tenaga surya dan PLTA atau tenaga air ya. Dari situ kita melihat memang ada manfaat-manfaat yang dirasakan dan 4 politeknik ini juga sudah bisa menjalankan program itu dengan berasal dari lulusan-lulusan diploma 3 yang berlatar belakang teknik. Ya bisa sipil, bisa listrik, ya bisa mesin. Karena pada dasarnya pembangkit listrik tenaga surya dan pembangkit listrik tenaga air itu membutuhkan latar belakang dari bidang-bidang tersebut. Nah, selama 1 tahun mereka kemudian dididik dengan materi khusus tentang teknologi tenaga surya dan tenaga air. Kemudian mereka memiliki bekal untuk bisa bekerja ya di bidang-bidang tersebut. Capstone ini kita kenal kalau di bidang pendidikan vokasi itu adalah project based learning. Mereka ini akan diluluskan sebagai lulusan diploma 4. Jadi harus memiliki kemampuan untuk menganalisis.
Saya merasa kayak saya tuh masih kuliah karena bener-bener sama kayak yang saya pelajari, apalagi waktu capstone project di RISD itu ya udah kayak gitu, sama, bener-bener sama, sistemnya sama, yang saya hitung pun juga sama, jadi seperti lagi kuliah aja.
Untuk mata kuliah yang relevan dengan sekarang yang saya kerjakan itu lumayan banyak, seperti kayak survei pemetaan, salah satu mata kuliah yang mengajarkan saya bagaimana caranya survei yang baik itu juga ada di drafter kan, karena kita juga harus mengukur data aktual yang ada di lapangan tentunya. Lalu juga ada mata kuliah Renewable Energy Power Plant System, di mana itu juga mengajarkan tentang sistem yang ada di PLTS tentunya. Yang saya dapatkan itu untuk mengetahui dan menentukan komponen apa yang digunakan dalam PLTS. Lalu tentunya juga ada mata kuliah standar dan peraturan, di mana dalam proses desain dan menggambar, tentunya kita harus mengikuti standar dan peraturan yang ada, agar dalam desain ini sesuai lah dengan apa yang kebutuhan proyek itu. Pada setiap proyek ini mempunyai karakteristik yang berbeda tentunya. Karena perbedaan karakteristik ini terjadilah beberapa kasus-kasus seperti peletakan panel surya atau jalur kabel yang agak rumit. Namun ketika saya berhasil melakukan dan menggambar desain tersebut dari proyek tersebut, itu memiliki rasa kepuasan tersendiri.
Kita menginginkan dengan website ini menjadi hub untuk kita saling memberikan informasi, terutama dengan perkembangan terkini. Jadi learning hub, learning center apa sih sebenarnya yang akan kita dapatkan di situ. Jadi ini penting bagi kita. Ini hub ini nanti kan kita bisa pakai juga untuk bisa sharing kira-kira ada lowongan kerja di mana saja nih sebenarnya. Karena intinya kan begitu. Kalau kita lihat sekolah setinggi apapun juga kan pertanyaannya diterima kerja nggak gitu. Nah, platform ini akan memberikan informasi yang komplit.
Kemudian sudah sejak tahun 2021 sudah ada sekitar 42 instruktur yang dilakukan pelatihan oleh pemerintah Swiss, dan ini pelatihannya cukup intensif karena hampir 1 tahun sudah ada 440 orang yang mengikuti pelatihan terkait dengan pembangkit listrik tenaga surya ini, dan sudah ada beberapa peserta pelatihan yang sudah diterima di dunia industri. Dan ini tentunya kami sangat mendukung terkait dengan capaian-capaian yang telah dilakukan, dan semoga kedepannya kerjasama ini bisa dilakukan dengan lebih baik lagi.
Itu masa depan energi terbarukan di Indonesia ini sangat menjanjikan. Terutama juga kan di Indonesia ini mempunyai sumber daya alam yang berlimpah, namun juga terdapat beberapa tantangan seperti infrastruktur yang belum memadai atau regulasi yang harus diperbarui. Nah, untuk agar kedepannya ini sektor energi terbarukan ini kuat di masa yang akan datang.
Saya ingin menjadi teknisi perempuan yang handal sih. Keren sih Bu, apalagi seorang perempuan dengan background yang berbeda jadi teknisi tuh keren. Saya di Surya ini sebagai field engineer. Nah, kegiatan saya sehari-hari biasanya itu ada survei site visit, kemudian ada quality control, ada system test, juga ada regular maintenance, itu ketika sudah beroperasi, dan juga ada unplanned maintenance, dan juga kita tuh sebagai support SLO dan lain sebagainya.
Saya awal dari D3, Teknik Konversi Energi di Politeknik Negeri Jakarta. Kemudian saya melanjutkan pendidikan ke D4, Teknologi Rekayasa Konversi Energi juga, yang bekerja sama dengan pihak ESDM.
Program yang baik atau strategi apapun yang namanya, itu nanti hanya akan bisa dilakukan ketika kita berbicara dalam level kontak implementasi. Implementasi hanya bisa terjadi kalau ada orangnya. Jadi keberadaan AESI yang ada di kita saat ini dengan bekerjasama dengan pemerintah Indonesia, dalam hal ini BPSDM yang menjadi sentral untuk diskusi ya di depan. Ini kita melihat bahwa ini sangat membantu sekali dengan program percepatan, khususnya bagaimana bauran energi ke depan nanti seperti apa, khususnya dari penyiapan tenaga kerjanya. Jadi bukan hanya tenaga kerja yang biasa-biasa ya, tapi tenaga kerja yang terampil nih, yang sesuai dengan note yang akan kita sampaikan seperti apa. Jadi sebenarnya sekali lagi saya juga mengapresiasi nih, adanya AESI itu akhirnya kita menggiring semuanya untuk bermain di lapangan yang sama dengan aturan yang sama.
Beyond producing skilled human resources, RISD helps Indonesia develop its enormous renewable energy potentials while contributing to reducing greenhouse emissions. As you know, Switzerland has a long history of combining education and industry needs, and that expertise is at the heart of the ESD project. Our approach, vocational education, is all about aligning classroom learning with real-world demands. We have brought this model to Indonesia through partnerships with local vocational institutions, Swiss universities of applied sciences, and the Swiss Federal University of Vocational Education have been working closely with their Indonesian counterparts to develop industry-relevant curricula, to train lecturers and to upgrade training facilities with input from the renewable energy industry.
Proyek RISD ini dalam kebijakan ekonomi hijau di Indonesia sudah ada dalam RPJMN tahun 2020 sampai dengan 2024, yaitu terkait dengan peningkatan kualitas lingkungan, kemudian peningkatan ketahanan terhadap bencana dan juga perubahan iklim serta terkait dengan penurunan karbon.
Rata-rata mahasiswa kami adalah dari geothermal, kemudian dari PLN. Jadi rata-rata yang sudah bekerja, kemudian ada tuntutan dari perusahaannya untuk mempunyai pengetahuan shifting begitu ya, atau transisi dari migas kemudian ke EBT.
Dukungannya sangat banyak dan kita merasa sangat bermanfaat ya. Jadi dalam 2-3 tahun terakhir ada 4 politeknik ya yang dibantu dalam bentuk peralatan dan juga pelatihan-pelatihan untuk mempersiapkan tenaga atau sumber daya pengajar.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat siang, salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, speakers, and participants, both here at the Gran Mahakam Hotel and those joining us online via Zoom. Welcome to the Indonesia Agri-PV Conference, themed Innovation and Empowering Collaboration for Sustainable Energy and Agriculture. My name is Dian Rosa and I will be your Master of Ceremony. This conference is jointly organized by the Renewable Energy Skills Development Project together with the Indonesian Solar Energy Association, AESI, to explore the potential of agri-voltaics, a powerful intersection between clean energy and food production. We are especially honored to have with us today Bapak Prahoro Nurtjahyo, Head of Human Resources Development Agency, Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources, Republic of Indonesia, and Ibu Tessa Nerini, Chargée d'Affaires, Embassy of Switzerland in Indonesia. Thank you very much, Pak Prahoro dan Ibu Tessa, for being here and supporting this important event. Before we begin, I would like to kindly remind everyone that simultaneous interpretation is available from English to Bahasa Indonesia and vice versa. You may use the receivers available on your table, and for those attending online, you may switch the language via Zoom. Kepada Bapak Ibu yang hadir, baik secara langsung di Hotel Gran Mahakam maupun bergabung secara online, kami menyediakan penerjemahan simultan selama penyelenggaraan acara. Silakan menggunakan alat penerjemah yang tersedia di meja masing-masing, atau bagi peserta Zoom silakan memilih fitur penerjemahan yaitu simbol bola dunia yang tersedia di layar Zoom Anda dan pilih bahasa yang dikehendaki. Now, to begin this conference, I am pleased to invite Bapak Martin Stottele, Team Leader of the Renewable Energy Skills Development Project, to deliver his welcome remarks. Pak Martin, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure seeing you all in big numbers here in the room today for in my eyes, very important event. It's something which is at the center of my heart for a long time already, since I started working in renewable energy in Indonesia. I always had that thought in the back of my mind that the combination of solar PV in particular with agriculture would have a massive potential in this country. And this ended finally in organizing an internship for a student from a University of Applied Science in Switzerland, and Basil, the student who won the competition. He is here for 6 months and he is focusing on this topic, looking into the potential of renewable energy and combined with agriculture, or with other words, with Agri-PV in Indonesia. And he is still working on his report. The report will be ready in about a month from now, but we thought it is a unique opportunity after Basil having met so many people in the sector and stakeholders in the sector, that we could take the opportunity and bring those people together in one room to discuss a bit more about the potential as well as the hurdles of Agri-PV in Indonesia. When you look at our background as a project, the RES project is assisting Indonesia, in particular polytechnics and BPSDM, in establishing new programs in renewable energy. So we are a project which is financed by the government of Switzerland, by the Swiss taxpayer, which is a grant to Indonesia to assist in that development of preparing human resources for the needs of the energy transition. I would just like very briefly to thank all the people which have been contributing to this event. First of all, Prahoro, who has made himself available to be here and do a keynote speech. Then to AESI as an organization which has been involved heavily with Basil in that whole process of searching and developing his work around Agri-PV, and then SECO and the Embassy of Switzerland, which is here present today as well and investing their time and efforts. Thank you all very much for coming today, and I'm looking forward to a green future with Agri-PV in Indonesia.
Thank you very much, Pak Martin, for the welcome remarks. Next, I would like to invite Ibu Mada Ayu Habsari, Chairwoman of the Indonesian Solar Energy Association, AESI, to also share her welcome remarks. Please give a warm welcome for Ibu Mada.
Selamat siang Bapak Ibu sekalian. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yang terhormat Bapak Prahoro Nurtjahyo, Kepala BPSDM, Kementerian Energi Sumber Daya Mineral Republik Indonesia. Yang terhormat Pak Martin Stottele, Team Leader ESD. Ibu Tessa Nerini, Deputy Head Political, Economic and Cultural Division Embassy of Switzerland. Para moderator dan panelis hari ini, dan juga hari ini saya senang sekali kedatangan sahabat saya, Ibu Dian Novita, Ketua Umum DPP Perempuan Tani HKTI. Atas nama AESI, saya mengucapkan terima kasih atas terselenggaranya acara pada siang hari ini. Merupakan kehormatan bagi kami menyambut kegiatan di siang hari ini, terutama kepada RSD, Project dan juga GFA Consulting Group atas terselenggaranya kegiatan di siang hari ini. AESI mendorong inovasi dan kolaborasi lintas sektor dalam transisi energi di Indonesia. Langkah ini tercermin dalam semangat inklusivitas yang kami hargai, yang oleh semua pihak turut mendorong penggunaan energi surya di Indonesia. Sebagai negara agraris, Indonesia memiliki luas area pertanian sebesar 62,3 juta hektar atau setara 30% dari total luas daratan. Artinya, pertanian akan menjadi hal yang sangat penting bagi ketahanan pangan di Indonesia. Namun, pada sektor pertanian ini kita juga menghadapi berbagai tantangan yang kompleks. Alih fungsi lahan pertanian yang menjadi pemukiman atau kawasan industri yang terus tumbuh di berbagai daerah. Perubahan iklim semakin memperburuk situasi melalui pola cuaca yang tidak menentu, banjir, kekeringan ekstrim, serta menurunnya produktivitas lahan. Selain itu, banyak juga wilayah sentra pertanian Indonesia yang belum memiliki akses terhadap infrastruktur energi. Akibatnya, aktivitas pertanian seperti irigasi, pengolahan pasca panen, atau pendinginan hasil panen masih sangat bergantung pada bahan bakar diesel, di mana di sini memiliki emisi yang cukup tinggi. Ketergantungan pada input pertanian berbasis fosil juga terjadi pada saat penggunaan energi pada proses pertama ya, atau pada saat proses penanaman. Karenanya biaya produksi pertanian menjadi tinggi, terutama ketika harga BBM naik, apalagi di daerah-daerah remote yang sulit sekali tercapai BBM. Kemudian terjadi ketidakstabilan operasional karena pasokan energi yang tidak menentu, emisi karbon yang tinggi, juga kerentanan jangka panjang terhadap hasil produksi itu sendiri. Untuk itulah peranan PLTS menjadi sangat penting, karena PLTS yang sifatnya mudah untuk dipasang di mana saja, bisa dikirim lebih mudah gitu ya, itu membuat PLTS menjadi salah satu alternatif penggunaan energi di lokasi pertanian. Lebih dari itu, PLTS juga dapat mendukung berbagai kebutuhan pertanian seperti pertama adalah irigasi pada saat proses penanaman di awal, kemudian pendinginan hasil panen, pengolahan pasca panen, penerangan dan elektrifikasi di daerah sentra pertanian karena kadangkali di daerah sekitar pertanian juga mengalami krisis listrik, dan juga mendorong efisiensi biaya operasional pertanian secara keseluruhan. Dengan mengintegrasikan energi surya dalam sistem pertanian, kita tidak hanya memperkuat ketahanan pangan, tapi juga membuka jalan bagi ketahanan energi di pedesaan, meningkatkan pendapatan petani, dan juga kontribusi terhadap target dekarbonisasi nasional. Konferensi hari ini merupakan langkah penting dalam mengakselerasi penerapan Agri-PV di Indonesia. Saya percaya melalui sinergi antara pemerintah, pelaku industri, akademisi, masyarakat sipil, kita dapat mendorong Agri-PV sebagai inisiatif percontohan solusi nyata dan terintegrasi. Terima kasih saya ucapkan kepada narasumber dan peserta yang telah hadir dalam diskusi hari ini. Semoga kolaborasi kita dapat terjalin dengan kuat dan kita bisa menciptakan ketahanan energi dan juga ketahanan pangan di Indonesia. Demikian, terima kasih, selamat siang. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Terima kasih banyak Bu Mada atas welcome remarks-nya. Now we are delighted to welcome Ibu Tessa Nerini, Chargée d'Affaires, Embassy of Switzerland in Indonesia, to deliver the opening remarks. Bu Tessa, the stage is yours.
Good afternoon. Para tamu yang terhormat, Bapak dan Ibu sekalian, selamat siang dan salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. What a privilege to be here and offer a few remarks at this Agri-Photovoltaic conference. This event is part of Switzerland's flagship program with Indonesia, the Renewable Energy Skills Development, RESD, funded by the Swiss State Secretariat for Economic Affairs. Together with our Indonesian partners, RESD supports vocational education and training aligned with the workforce needs of the renewable energy sector. One of the key components of the program is to raise awareness and share expertise on emerging renewable energy technologies through knowledge exchange between Switzerland and Indonesia, as well as on-the-ground implementation by the industries. Today, we shine a light on Agri-PV, a promising innovation that addresses the interlinked challenges of clean energy access, climate resilience, and food security. Agri-PV is an innovative approach that combines agriculture and solar energy. This conference offers a valuable opportunity to explore this innovation from different angles, from regulatory and policy frameworks to financing mechanisms and on-the-ground technological innovation. We will also hear examples from Switzerland's experience. Research institutions such as Agroscope, our National Center for Agricultural Research, are conducting pilot projects to understand how solar panels and agriculture can coexist at the same spot. In one study, for instance, photovoltaic panels were installed above berry crops. The result? Energy was produced while crops were protected from sun and heat stress, illustrating how Agri-PV can be a win-win solution. This kind of knowledge sharing is essential. We are all on a shared learning journey. By exchanging ideas, adapting best practices, and understanding what works in different contexts, we can help Agri-PV technologies develop responsibly and effectively. This conference is not only a platform for learning, it also helps us build connections across sectors and lay the groundwork for future collaboration. Achieving a resilient and sustainable energy transition will require collective commitments from governments, the private sector, financial institutions, academia, and civil society alike. Through strong partnerships, we can transform common challenges into shared progress. Terima kasih.
Thank you very much, Ibu Tessa Nerini, for the opening remarks. Next, we are honored to invite Bapak Prahoro Nurtjahyo, Head of the Human Resources Development Agency, Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources, Republic of Indonesia, to deliver the keynote speech and officially open the event. Please welcome Pak Prahoro to the stage.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat siang, salam sehat, salam sejahtera untuk semuanya. I try to speak in her bahasa, but I cannot speak in her bahasa. I thought when I met her in couple minutes, I was asking her how long it's been in Indonesia, and she said 3 years, and it's quite a long time in Indonesia for 3 years. And then I was make a joke with her that typically when we are here, if this is such a short time within 1 year, if you are in Indonesia, you are most likely gonna meet with Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources. So that's why this is I kind of miss you, Ibu Tessa. I think this is the first time. It was nice to meet you also in this particular event. That hopefully we can meet again for the future journey. Yang saya hormati Mbak Mada, my fellow friends, but in the old days, Pak Martin, again, I think it's an honor for you to be a part of this system, and then I like to see more and more later on. Distinguished panel speakers, and also there's a representative from partner ministries, business entities, academia, civil society organizations, Mbak Dian, and also all the distinguished guests. It is an honor for me to be here to share what the view that we have. Typically, in every room in Indonesian building, there is a picture between both president and vice president. I think I don't see it here, so, so I kind of hard to find what is the to reflect his view. I think the one that I have here today, I would like to share with you the event that we have right now. Basically, this is part of his big view. So, Pak Presiden Prahoro keep mentioning three things in his campaigns, and when the first time the inaugurations, he mentioned three things, and keep this one he mentioning all the time. The first time, he focusing on first, energy security. And then, when we're talking about this one, they're also talking about the downstreaming. And the third one, they're talking about the food security, for the food security. I think today here, we're talking about two together at the same time. We're talking about the food security as well as the energy security. I think, Bapak Ibu sekalian, ladies and gentlemen, today is 2025. 5 years ago, if we all remember, we just passed what we call all the big event for the entire global universe, what we call COVID. Pandemic basically it's been 5 years, and then if we notice that one, I think many of us is because we have a short memory loss. What we have today basically, we know some of our colleagues, of some of our friends probably cannot make it, but we are lucky that we are here today. But at the same time, that one's also recognize the conditions that we have during that pandemic. When during the pandemic happened, I think most of us often have the problem. I think similarly talking about the lockdown, right? When talking about the lockdown, basically you need to make sure all the security for your both energy as well as the food must be there in your house. Otherwise, you basically just delay in order to get your time gonna be out. I think this is one good opportunity when we're talking about this one, especially for the food security as well as the energy security, and this is the things. I would like also to remind you that the condition that we have right now, Bapak-Bapak Ibu sekalian, when I said the first time that we are lucky that we have passed the COVID, and I think we need to be very blessed because among other million, I think for COVID itself, the victim of the COVID total was I think about 6 million. And we passed that one. We are not part of that part. But there are two things that we need to make sure that we are here, the one at least one in this room, that also pass what is the other conditions. The first one, there are not all people in this world who get the access for the electricity. So we're talking about the electricity around the globe. There are 685 million people that has no access for electricity. The first one. The second one, if we're talking about the clean water, it's about 2.2 billion people. There is no access for the clean water. I think this again is our task, because we are chosen not to be on those particular group, but in the meantime, I think this is our time to show them how to collect and how to work together in order to make sure all those community, all those one that doesn't get this opportunity as what we have, is going to be a challenging for us. So, as we mentioned earlier, I think you're talking about the Ibu Tessa mentioning there is a combine between the berry trees, combined with the solar, and thank you Ibu Tessa. I was witnessing that one. Is that September, Pak Martin? Kemudian, is that September or August? August 2023. So I was invited to Switzerland, and I'm witnessing that that system. So all the berries, and then on top of the berries there is solar panels. Then the panels basically provide both. They cover the berries from the direct suns, and then they also provide because of the solar, they also provide the electricity. The electricity going to the grid, and then basically that's what happened. So that was very tempting for us. I think if you see what we have in Indonesia, talking about what we have right now, we're talking about the food security as well as the energy security. Basically, that once two objectives come at the same place. I think this is something that we later on need to make sure, because I know for sure, Ibu, Bapak sekalian, ladies and gentlemen, we are in the era of the wave of technology are coming, is already sit down in our living room. They're not trying to knock our door, but they're already inside our house. Meaning, if we are not ready talking about the innovations, talking about the technology, then that become the problems on us. So when we talking about this kind of technology, Bapak Ibu sekalian, I'm expecting when talking about the Agri-PV, we're talking about the thing that is doable. And the good thing for us, because we have 285 million people. If you take a look based on the census 2025, based on these last 2 months, May, we have 2,085 million people in this country. And then the challenge is, right now when you're talking about the demographic bonus, the age of working age between 15 to 64 years old, that one is about 152 million people. So we are already passing between the productive age compared with the non-productive age, we are the higher one. And this has happened until 2030. So the challenge for us, I think this is among us the one that we have here. If we do not, or we cannot use this luxury in order to build this country, that one is going to be burdened for the next 10 years from now. So I think this is a good challenge for us. I think this is a good opportunity. And last month when we held the Human Capital Summit, I think this is exactly what Ibu Tessa mentioned during the speech. So I cannot reiterate what she said already. Basically, we're talking about the 5 things. We're talking about the strengthening the vocational and training system, the one that we have. We're talking about the transforming all the fossils research, talking about the fossil human resources or human capital in the area to renewable energy. The third one, we're talking about the partnership, the collaboration between multi-sector. And then the third one, talking about the finance, the scheme that we have in order to make this one. And the last one, we're talking about the digitalization, about the database. And again, Bapak Ibu sekalian, and I'm hoping here, because this is a multi-sector, there are many stakeholders coming here. We're talking about I'm hoping there's an EPP also, right? EPP ada kan dari sini ya? From EPP, and then we're talking many different items, the one that we have right now. So I'm hoping by the end of this conference, at least we can grab what need to be followed, because I know we cannot solve in 1 hour, Pak. Jadi we need to make sure we can move on, and then a certain thing that we like to make sure. And one thing that I like to share with you, we're talking about the innovations. If you googling in your tools, there is a place in Central Java, we call it Sukoharjo. I think you can call it this one too. And in Sukoharjo, there is used to be mechanical engineer that was graduated from ITB. And then I think he moved back from the capital city and go to Sukoharjo and just focus on that one. And what he proposed is the integrated farming for the zero waste. Yeah. and they're still very successful in this one. I think this is something also try to make sure that all the item that we have here is going to be useful for the future. And again, the challenge is not easy, Bapak Ibu. We're facing many different obstacles, technically and non-technically. Yeah. We also facing the different generations. We're talking, I think I know Pak Martin and I is definitely is Generation X, Pak. Yeah, that's what, but I see in the future the player is going to be Gen Z, and probably even for the Alpha, and that's another challenge because whatever the one that we are discussed here, if we not include them, that one is going to be another challenge. So again, technical and non-technical, that one's going to be a great opportunity, but at the same time, it's going to be challenging for us. Okay, I think without overdue, there is many things that we can explore later on, and then happy discussion for this conference, and hopefully we can meet again for the more realistic one and more, how do you call this one, more on the implementation side. I think I'm witnessing myself with my own eye how the system works in Switzerland, and then just to apply this one in Indonesia. I think this is the next challenge that we have. Thank you very much, and hopefully we can get a beautiful discussion during this event. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Bapak Prahoro atas keynote speech-nya. Mohon perkenan Bapak untuk tetap di depan, Bapak, untuk penyerahan token of appreciation. May I also invite Ibu Tessa Nerini and Ibu Mada Ayu Habsari to join Pak Prahoro at the front, and also Pak Martin to come forward to present a token of appreciation from RASD. May I also invite our panel speakers to join us at the front for a photo session. Pak Bambang, Pak Han, silakan maju ke depan untuk foto bersama. Ya, silakan Bapak. Oke. Let us give a warm round of applause for our opening speakers. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to all our distinguished speakers for the speech and also for the photo session. With that, we now move into the first panel session, where we will hear from a mix of local and international experts on practical experiences and strategies for advancing Agri-PV solutions. To guide us through this discussion, I am pleased to invite our moderator, Ibu Winnie Rizkining Ayu, the Asia Pacific Director for Rocky Mountain Institute. Let's give a warm round of applause for Ibu Winnie.
Hi, good day everyone. The energy can be a little bit low after lunch, so I'm just going to repeat this one more time. Good day everyone. Thank you. I'm so excited for this panel session because we're going to discuss about The first one, we're going to discuss about research and innovation and best practices in Agri-PV. And the second panel will discuss about the enabling condition for Agri-PV in Indonesia. When we talk about energy transition never stands on its own. Energy transition is always intersectional. And one of the most important intersection in Indonesia is indeed with the agriculture sectors. Not only in building the agriculture sector and the energy sector in separation, but like Pak Prahoro said, it's actually towards achieving the goal of energy security and food security, and hopefully our agriculture sector could become resilient, because by the end of the day, food is one of the most important security that a nation needed, and it is enabled by energy transition, and in this case, it is enabled by solar PV. This session is going to be hybrid, so hi for the participants joining through Zoom. You can participate later on during the discussion session by typing your question, and there will be a simultaneous translation as well. Saya akan switch bahasa Indonesia dan bahasa Inggris, nanti tergantung oleh speakernya. Without further ado, we will start the first panel. We'll start with the first speaker who's joining us online. And after the first speakers finish, I will invite the other panels to join us on the stage. Now, for the first speaker, hi, Jocelyn. I see that you're already there. Jocelyn is joining us online, and he is going to share his experience about international research insights into sustainable agriculture and Agri-PV integration from a comprehensive science-based perspective. For the speakers in the session, because we're running a little bit late, you have 15 minutes to concisely deliver your point. So Jocelyn, the floor is yours.
So, thank you very much for your introduction, and hello everyone from Switzerland. I hope you hear me well. And so I won't take that much time and present the works I'm doing here in Switzerland. So it's agrivoltaics best practices on berries, actually. So I'm part of the team in Agroscope with Louis Souter and Andreas. We are working now since 2021 on agrivoltaics. And I want to present you today some insight of the work I'm doing. Yeah, next. So just the content of my presentation, I will just present a bit of Agroscope and then the general context about agrivoltaics. What is agrivoltaics? Why combining agrivoltaics with panels with crops? And then later would be the experiences from Switzerland, the challenges we are facing, and also the advantages of such system on crops in Switzerland mostly, but then also expanding of the world. Next. So just in a few words, so Agroscope is the Swiss Center of Excellence of Switzerland. We are affiliated directly with the Federal Office of Agriculture, so we are a public institute. We are as you can see on the map, in the center of Europe, and our task is the research and development, decision-making basis, legal task, and also knowledge exchange and technology transfer. So we are working with companies, we are working with farmers. It's over all the topic, it's covering all the topics in agronomy. So it's a very broad topic in Agroscope, and I'm located in the south part of the Switzerland, in Conte, and I will present most of the results we have there, but also in other parts of Switzerland. Next. So now in the topic of agrivoltaics, so as a general context, you know that we are in the phases of climate change, and we also have the development of the world's population. This addresses new challenges for agriculture and food production. Because of the global warming of 1.5 degrees is expected at the world level. For example, in Switzerland, it's a bit more 2 degrees. It's a bit higher than other countries in the world. And we also are facing some extreme weather events, such as heat waves, droughts, heavy precipitation, hails, and so on. So it's completely changing the climate, Last week, for example, we had snow in Switzerland, which didn't happen the past years. So it's a bit all changing in the world. We're facing all extreme events. And at the same time, we have an increase of the global food production. So we must increase the food production because of the increase of the world's population. But the agricultural land is there, we cannot increase it, or probably it's decreasing. Or in some countries, it's increasing because we remove some forests, but this is another topic. So we must increase the global production of food, but we have the same place to produce it. And at the same time, we also must increase the energy production because the consumption is increasing also worldwide. The thing is that both production, so electricity production and food production, needs land. And how we can address this at the same time? We can address this thanks to the agrivoltaic solutions. So combine at the same time panels, so energy production and food production. Next slide. So what is agrivoltaics? So agrivoltaics is the simultaneous use of an area for the production of photovoltaic solar energy and for agriculture. Here you can see two pictures from the laws in Germany. They have defined two categories, which is actually those two categories we are seeing on practically. You have the first one, which is the dual land use, where we put panels on top of the crops. This might be, for example, here we are done for berries, but for other crops, for greenhouses also. So it's really to have panels on top of the plants. And then you have the second category, which is the parallel use of PVs. And there you may have, for example, dynamic PVs, which is across the field or in the field, but on part of the field, ground mounted panels, and so on. So those are the two general categories we have in agrivoltaics, which represent most of the projects we have at the moment in the world. So on top of the plants or next to the crop, to the target crop. Next. Here you have some pictures of what type of agrivoltaics we may have. So as I mentioned before, we have the open fields crop production. So we're speaking here about tilt mountain PV. So it's panels that are on top of the plants. We have the ground mountain PV, which is those that are lower. Usually we have sheep with those, so mostly pasture than with those ones. Or we may have also those vertical PV also installation, as you have on the pictures on the right. So those type of installation, it's also possible on field. And then you have all the technology linked to greenhouses integration PV. So where we put panels in greenhouses, so we replace glasses, we put it under the glasses, and so on. So there are a lot of possibilities. We can, as you see on the top left, bottom left, sorry, you see that they replace some glasses from the greenhouses by panels. So it's also a type of agrivoltaics. And then finally, you may see on the bottom right, you see that there is this particular panel, the red one, the pink one, which there we can select the wavelength to the plant, and the wavelength we keep for the energy production. Finally, just to know for you that there are several names for agrivoltaics in the world. So the consortium is mostly on agri-voltaics, but you may also find it as agro-photovoltaics, PV agriculture, agro-PV, solar sharing, and so on. So there are a lot of names, which means agrivoltaics at the end, just to know that it's not in all countries are using their own words actually on this topic. Next. So why combine agrivoltaics? You may know that plants use energy, so lights, to produce photosynthesis and then to develop. But they're using specific part of the wavelength. So we are saying it's the PAR light, so the photosynthetically active radiation, which is in from the blue to the red mostly. And in this region of wavelength, they're using particular spectrum. So for example, mostly the blue and the red, but not only. For example, we know that the green, the plants are using less the green lights than the other lights. So this is why we may combine also the wavelength selection for the panels. So the plants need quality and quantity of light to develop. But the panels, they only need quantity of energy, of light. They don't need any particular quality of the wavelength. So this is why we can also combine panels and with the crops. Because we can also select the wavelength, we can keep the best ones for the crop production, and those that are less used by the plants for energy production. So this is why we can also combine agrivoltaics and produce energy and crop at the same time on the same field. And finally, you see here on the left the pictures that the plants mostly use the part of the light that are reaching them for photosynthesis, but there are a lot of part that it's not used by the plant. And this part, we can also use it as an energy production. So plant needs quality and quantity for light, but for energy production, we only need a quantity, not the quality. The quality is not important, but the quality for the plant is definitely important. Next. Now at the field level, which crops may be suitable for an agrivoltaic solution? So here you can see on the right, meta-analysis from Loeb et al., which they are looking for the shading ratio, so the reduction in solar radiation, compared to the yield of the plants. And you see that they have done several categories. Some categories are not suitable for shading, for example, maize, which you see a direct reduction, so it's the blue dots, a direct reduction linked with the yield. But for others, such as berries, fruits, or fruity vegetables, you see that we may have an increase of the yield of the production. So you see that already some crops are more suitable than others for combining with agrivoltaic solution. So the question are, do we have any benefits for yield? Do we have a benefits for the quality of the plant of the production? There are also the animal welfare, for example, aquavoltaic, so combining fish production with panels or milk production with panels and so on. And finally, we are usually don't mention them, but the workers. Is there any benefits for the workers also under the panels? I put there also particular cases, for example, for grapes. Grapes is a very important crops in Europe, and now they are facing problem with the heat waves because usually the grapes have a lot of sugar in them, are good for harvest in August, but not all the quality in the berries is rich. So the sugar is good, but not everything. For example, the acidity is too low, and the flavors also are not so good. So they must harvest later the production, but then they are facing driest berries. So for example, agrivoltaics might be a solution for combining with wine production. This is a particular case, for example, here. So which allows to expand the development of the plant and then to harvest a bit later the production and to save a production, because sometimes it's not only about having a better yield, it's sometimes also keep a production on site and keep an income for a farmer. So you may also know this. And next. And now speaking to Switzerland. So we, since 2021, we have starting research on berries in Switzerland with the first installation on top left in Agri-Photovoltaic. And since there we have implement 2 other facilities in 2022. In the middle, you can see in 2023. So those are static installation that we have here on site. And we also have farmers that have implemented on field. So on the bottom left, it's a farmer in the central part of Switzerland, in Bern, so the capital. And on the bottom right, where some people of Indonesia were there 2 years ago, if I'm correct, which is in the central part also of Switzerland. And next. So for us, the research questions and the partners was which berry and fruit species are best suited for Switzerland? What is the optimum degree of shading for each species and variety? Is it possible to achieve comparable yield and quality regarding a conventional system? And are the agrivoltaic installation profitable? So by Agroscope, we're working mostly on crop than in electricity production, just to know. And you can see here that we have several partners support in our research, or different type of research. Next. So just for you to know that in Switzerland, the berry production is around 1,000 hectares, which is less than 1% of the food production in Switzerland, of the agricultural land. So it's very tiny markets, but regarding the price, it's very high. And we are working mostly with strawberries and raspberries because they are already covered in Switzerland. And we are facing some problem with them. We cover them with plastic tunnels, for example, or umbrellas or rain covers. The problem is that during the summer, the temperature under those systems is very too high. So we have a decrease in yield and quality. So the goal for us is to replace those installations by agrivoltaic system. It won't be implemented everywhere in Switzerland, so really to replace something. So the goal is to replace those 300 hectares approximately of covered culture of strawberries and raspberries by panels if it's possible. Next. So as I mentioned, we have installation in Agroscope Conte, so on the one in the bottom. This installation we have 3 different installations. You can see the area of each installation. So we have a big one of 4,000 meters square, and also monitor berries in Beerenland. So there we have 2,000 meters square of panels, and one in Lucerne, so the more than 7,000 meters square. So all the data that I show you, the conclusion I have are coming from those 3 installations, so those 3 locations in Switzerland, which is representing well the production, the Swiss production. And next. So the current knowledge on strawberries, we have seen that we can improve the microclimate under the installation. We have cooler temperature, which is good for the plants. But we are also seeing that strawberries are high sensitivity to shading. So we have seen a strong relationship, positive linear relationship with DLI, so the daily light integral, so the amount of light the plant receives during a day, for yield and sugar. And as we reduce the light, we will have a reduction, direct reduction of yield of between 20 or 40%, depending on the trials we had, and also lower or equal sugar content in the berries. But we have seen that also the firmness of the fruit is negatively impacted by shading, probably linked to the UV, the reduction of UV by the panels. We don't know yet, but it seems possible that this is the critical point. And for us, the recommendation for Switzerland with our data will be to have 25 mole per meter square per day for the crop. So this is for us the threshold to have a good production under panels. And we also have seen that evergreen varieties are less suitable than summer varieties. And we need to find varieties that are more shade tolerant, because even in the summer varieties, some are less suitable than others. Next. And regarding the raspberries, we had still a cooler temperature under the system, which is still great, but we are seeing that this plant is greater shade tolerant than the strawberries. We still had yield losses because we reduced the lights, but the effect is definitely less important. As for the strawberries, the sugar content is also decreased because we have a reduction of light, which is typical. But we didn't have any significant differences regarding the firmness of the berries, which is very good for the conservation of the fruits in the fridge and then after on the market. And for us, the recommendation there with our data will be to have 15 mole per meter square, so 10 mole less than strawberries. Regarding the fruit weight, we had good results, we had comparable or slightly lower than on the plastic tunnel. And regarding the development of the plants, we have seen an increase of the development, mostly in terms of leaf area. So the plant produce more leaf to compensate the reduction of light. And as for the strawberries, we are seeing that some varieties are more suitable than others. Next. As a challenges for us in Switzerland, so firstly, it's a major investment. We must be near an electricity connection, otherwise the cost will increase drastically and the project won't be financially good. It's not easy to implement this everywhere in Switzerland. We have a strong limitation also due to the light availability, which is not the same as in Indonesia. I know that you have more light than us in Switzerland. And I must also say that it's difficult to take our results and expand it in the other parts in the world. Maybe mostly in Europe, that's okay, but not in everywhere in the world, because we don't have the same climatic condition. So it's sometimes a bit complicated to compare the results we have in each country. It's still possible, but a bit difficult. And then we have also which technology is best suitable for a place and so on. And finally, the social acceptance of agrivoltaics, for example, in Switzerland is very, very strong. So sometimes not easy to implement this. Next. And regarding the advantages, we have a protection of the crop against extreme climatic periods, rain, hail, heat stress, and so on. So it's good. We may replace the plastic tunnels, so not use plastic anymore on fields. We can also collect the water. We can reduce also the water demand by the crops, and it's something important, improve the climatic condition for the staff also. And at the same time, of course, we can produce electricity, sustainable electricity, which is definitely important. And next. So to conclude, and the perspective for us, so for strawberries, it will be definitely difficult to implement this in Switzerland. We must find which part is best suitable for the system. We must increase also the transparency of the system. Then is it still energy efficiency? Is it still good or not? But for the raspberries, we had positive results. So we are definitely, we will still working with raspberries. With strawberries, will be depending on the situation if we keep them or not. But otherwise, we protect the crops against the rain, the hail. We also increase the works of the staff under the panels, because it's the temperature are cooler, so it's nicer to work under the panels that are in the plastic tunnel. So it's also something that we must take into account in this type of project. It's not only about the crops; it's also about the staff management and staff that are working under the panels. Yeah, thank you for your attention. I hope everything was clear, and I'm looking for any question if you have.
Thank you so much, Jocelyn. Please stay on Zoom for our discussion session later. That is a very insightful presentation about the best use of Agri-PV in Switzerland, with using strawberries and raspberries as one of the case studies. Now, to continue the panel discussion, I'd like to invite Pak Bambang Hendro Trisasongko from Institut Pertanian Bogor, Program of Smart Agriculture, Faculty of Agriculture. He has PhD on remote sensing agriculture background, and he is also leading the new research station at IPB Bogor. Pak Bambang, stage yours. I'd also like to invite Song Yun Han, the director of Envelopes Co. Limited from Sorry, slight technical delay. Pak Sung Yun Han, Director of Envelopes Co. Limited from South Korea. His background is from Virginia Polytechnic Institute and State University, with technical background in EPC field, and now in project development. Now, Pak Bambang and Pak Han, we definitely would love to tap into your expertise and your insight on Agri-PV. And we're going to start with Pak Bambang first. I think as Indonesia's leading researchers in Agri-PV. It's going to be great if you can share some of your insights on how to contextualize this Agri-PV to Indonesia context. Pak Bambang, the floor is yours. You can use that or you can do your seat. Dan silakan pakai bahasa Indonesia juga nggak apa-apa.
Oke.
Boleh, ya. Nanti bisa ada translasi.
Okay. So can I use this? So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bambang Trisasongko. I'm the lecturer of the Smart Agriculture Study Program at the Faculty of Agriculture, Institute Pertanian Bogor, as well as the caretaker of the newly established Agri-Photovoltaic Research Station at the same university. So I would like to start with the Agri-Photovoltaic as the intrinsic models for land use collocation in Indonesia. Next, please. So I would like to start with the Indonesian Global Food Security Index. We can see that the Indonesia is not so good in terms of providing foods and food security. Thank you. So it's not good news for us that as we have only ranked 60 up to 63rd out of 100 something countries, and the most important thing is that we have problems with the sufficiency. So it means that we have lots of things to do in our country. Next, please. So I'll be quick as we have lots of discussion later on. As the introduction of specifically for the rice, we have quite successful. Actually, we have intensification program has been quite successful. But in case of the carbohydrate intake, the Indonesia is the fourth biggest rice importer. So it's lots of works to do in the upcoming years. Next, please. So we have two different approaches for this. First is the intensification is pretty obvious, how to make the lands much more profitable for farmers, and in case of the country itself, the upcoming produce of the rice would be much more preferable. But later on, we learn lots that the intensification is not so great in case of what we call now the regenerative agriculture. That's because we push lots of efforts into land to produce more rice or more agricultural produce. So we again opt of the developing the new fields like the one in Central Kalimantan, South Kalimantan, and the southern Papua. Next, please. And we come up with the challenge of climate change, the impact of climate change to agriculture, and then we later on learn that the agriculture also contributes more to the climate change. So in terms of climate change impact to agriculture, we have three major problems related to the climate change. The first is the impact of crop production and quality. We can see that the last 2 years we have severe damage on the due to the El Nino at the shown at the right hand side of the this slide. And we also hidden the impact on foodborne disease.
That's because climate change will induce more flies, E. coli and Salmonella and so on, so forth. And the third one is the burden for food distribution. Next, please. And the other issue that we would like to address in this case is the agriculture contribution to climate change. So the climate change and the agriculture is going vice versa. So it means that we need to cover both of the issue at the same time. So we have problems with the crop production. So in terms of non-food contribution to climate change, non-food issue has been predominant, but in case of agriculture, it's only 26%. But if we break down the structure of the contribution of agriculture to climate change, we can see that the crop production and land use change and it would be quite severe, including in Indonesia. Next, please. And on top of that, we have problems with the competing land utilization. That's because we only allow to make some agricultural activities in the so-called APL, the area penggunaan lain, the other land uses beyond the forest and conservation areas. That's the only way that we think of producing more foods for our country. So great land mass in Indonesia doesn't necessarily mean that we have lots of land resources for agriculture. So the other issue is what we call the land rent. So it means that if we have sort of agricultural land, it's simply less valuable. But in case of we convert to the building, residential, and so on and so forth, we increase the value of land. So it means that the farmers in the outskirts of city would tend to convert their land. That's because they have much more profitable of using or utilizing the land instead of only simply planting some crops. So the idea would be how to make some win-win solution for that. It means that we can basically join land utilization types between the energy and the agriculture. Next, please. So the idea would be, the Indonesia energy and agricultural landscape would face several challenges. As we have mentioned before, the energy challenges would be rely on the fossil fuels, and then we also having growing demands of renewable energy. For agricultural challenge, we have land degradation, lots of land degradation that we have shown in this country. And then the second would be the land conversion, whether legitimate or illegitimate. So we have several works on to do. And the other thing is the climate change impact, droughts, floods, and so on and so forth. So it means that all of the issue could be resolved by the Agri-Photovoltaic. Next, please. So the Agri-Photovoltaic is basically combine all of these activities within this same land. So we can say it is a co-location of solar panels and crops in the same land. So key feature would be the elevated solar panels, which must be make a higher cost, but we can also make some profit using the crops that we have planted below the Agri-Photovoltaic. Next, please. So we have set up so-called the Agri-Photovoltaic research station, thanks to Pak Han from Envelopes, which is funded by Korea East-West Power. So it's formally established in 9 October 2024. So it's in the upcoming October we have first inauguration, and we have hosted the several activities, like the right-hand side. We host the new visit from the new students of the IPB, Institute Pertanian Bogor, as well as the visit from the Jeju National University of South Korea. Next, please. So the idea of the Agri-Photovoltaic research station is the sustainability of the three different issues: food, energy, and water. We have set up the APRS at first to take care of two issues, which is food, the energy, and then the energy would go to the e-mobility charging station that have been set up in our Dramaga campus, and we also would like to develop the smart greenhouses. So in the upcoming years, we would like to have water treatment facility. When we have done all of these three key sustainability in our campus, we have successfully we would like to have this one successfully, food, energy, water, sustainability. Next, please. So initial efforts of our research team, consisting of undergraduate students, we have make some effort in plant phenotyping, so we can use small types of drones to monitor the soybeans. We planted soybeans. That's because Indonesia has been entirely dependable to the outside. Imported 80% of the imported soybean in Indonesia is coming from the US, so it's totally dependent to the US. So we start with this soybeans. Next, please. And then we also have a test on the chlorophyll content. As we can see here, that the open field is much more less profitable. If we combine the Agri-Photovoltaic and the soybean, we have elevated profit than the open field. So it means that it's a good combination between the Agri-Photovoltaic and the soybeans. Next, please. And we also put some efforts to model the plants using the plant phenotyping prototype in our research station. Next, please. And then the other one is the outlook of our future photovoltaic activities in Indonesia. We focus on the economic, how to make some numerical evidence that the income for farmer would be rising, and for environmental outlook of the APV, we focus on the micro climate alteration. That's because we don't really know how the process or the actual benefit of the shading the APV to the actual growth of plants or crops. And we're looking forward to have social outlook or benefit of the APV, which is the rural electrification or job creation in green energy and farming. Next, please. And we also identify the challenges and barriers when we are dealing with the APV. The first is the technical challenge or barriers, meaning that we need to focus on the paucity of the documentation on crop response. So we have no idea of how the profitable crop response to the shading, and then we're looking forward to have the policy and regulation. So we approach the Bapanas to have start the initial contact with the Bapanas, especially on the land ownership complexities. Next, please. And we would like to have policy recommendation for Bapanas. We have contact to the Pak Jarod, which is the director of the agriculture and crops in Bapanas. We try to initiate the government initiative, subsidies or tax relaxation and so on and so forth. And we in IPB we would like to have the research development, especially on the localized APV models. That's because we have lots of APV models we need to establish in tropical crops, and we also need to have more pilot project in our beloved countries. Next, please. And then last thing that we would like to ask you, call for action. We encourage the government of private sectors, possibly in CSR project. Who knows? And we would like to promote the pilot project and farmer training, collaborating with the IBK. Thank you very much for kind support for us. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Pak Bambang, for such an insightful presentation, and I'm so happy to see the model of the lab that actually you're doing for the research together with Pak Han. So I think this is a very good segue. Pak Han, if you could share the practical experience from the international and Indonesia Agri-PV project. What are the promising technologies, and how do you handle agriculture and the energy part, and what are the challenges? The floor is yours.
Okay, so yes, as mentioned, let me try to explain the technologies that our company is actually implementing around the world, and plus the Indonesian model. So next slide. So just brief about me. I'm the co-founder and the director of a company called Envelopes. I used to work in a oil field company, EPC company in Korea, but I started Envelopes to develop more renewable projects, and now we're focusing on developing agro-PV projects. And as you can see on the right, that's our utility scale 4 megawatt APV project in Fiji, which is planned to start within 1 or 2 months. So that'll be a big landmark, having a utility scale APV project in Pacific country, Fiji. Next slide, please. So I think the previous speakers already mentioned about what agrivoltaic is, so I'll try to go quickly about this. Next slide. That's our another Fiji project, 200 kilowatt APV, and you can see we're growing crops, and that's one of the farmers that taking care of our farms. Next slide. So our approach as a private company, we're looking into how benefit can be to the farmers who will be the actual off-takers or who will be our customers basically of our technology. So as you know, one of the most crisis is climate change, and we got that 71% of farmers are experiencing climate change, and due to that climate change, they are losing their income by 16%, and 60% of farmers saying that they need some kind of climate change solution, which we thought it would be APV. Next slide, please. So I'll skip that because we already mentioned it so many times and everybody knows what agrivoltaic is. Next slide, please. Next slide. I'll just pass that out. So as you can see, it's getting very popular around the world. United States, Europe, as I mentioned, in Switzerland also, in Korea, Japan. They are actually limiting the development of ground-mounted solar as they are limiting the land use. So in Europe, I think they are promoting the new solar project to be APV. And also Korea is starting to reviewing the laws to actually implement APV in Korea. So next slide. And same thing, next slide please. And it's a very big market within the 10 years. We're thinking about the global APV market is going to take about 5% of the 50 gigawatt market in the PV market. Even though it's a very small portion, the money in monetary scale is going to be $73 billion plus. So it's a very profitable market, and also for the climate and for a businessman like me. So that's one of those very promising markets that we're analyzing. Next, please. So in order to show our technical approach, I'll just explain what we're doing as an APV developer and also APV technology company. Next slide, please. So we usually, right now, we're starting to offer two systems or two platforms for providing customized smart APV services. One is called My Power Plant. Another one is called SAMS, which is Smart Agrivoltaic Management System. Next, please. So first of all, APV, some people might think that we can actually just build a elevated PV and just grow whatever crops you want, but that's usually not the case. The APV design should depend on crop type and climate region. So everything has to be analysis, the climate, the soil content, even the design has to change depending what you're trying to do. And what we're trying to do or provide to the farmers or people who are interested in APV is we're trying to utilize our own patented design to provide a one-stop platform to the farmers to actually start design, analyze, and also up to the point of installation and operation to the people who are interested. And we're just name it as a platform called is Maui Power Plant. So I'll tell you how we actually do it. Next slide, please. So we first start with microclimate analysis. We have our own patent analyzing the crop yield and also looking into the energy generation from the PV solar. So we optimize both. Usually, some people say by doing maximizing the solar generation will reduce the yield, or maximizing the crop yield will actually reduce the solar panel, but we try to actually catch two birds in one stone. So try to get the answers of optimizing both solar generation and crop yield in both our using our technology. So next slide, please. So yeah, based on that, included in our analysis, we do crop modeling for each of the crops that we are trying to grow under the solar by analyzing the temperature, the conditions, soil condition, and so on. So this one is for the crops that we analyzed for the Fiji project. We were trying to do, it was a pre-feasibility study that we did, and it actually showed that some of the crops are actually gonna grow better on the under the APV. I think that comes from while the climate change is making the temperature higher than regular season, so it'll actually optimize the crops yield. So next slide. And also based upon the crop modeling, we actually designed the APV design that optimized the crop model. And as you can see, for a normal ground-mounted PV will be a just northwest design that's facing one direction. But in this case, we concluded that east-west design with a more roof type can maximize the crop yield while reducing the solar generation up to only 2%. So based upon those crop modeling and optimization of the solar generation, we actually ended up in having a new kind of a design. Next slide, please. And based upon that, we actually do the O&M installation. So the platform will look into local partners or our partner who can actually do the installation of EPC, the project, and then also offer a company that can do a O&M on that field locally. So we're planning to launch this service within 1 or 2 months, and you can actually come to our website and actually have a look into it within 1 or 2 months also. So next slide, please. And also, not only just doing for the installation and the modeling part, I think the operation is very critical. I even mentioned in the previous speakers that if you have just one limited option of panel just mounted on fixed portion of the structure, we can only grow that specific type of crops within that field. So it'll limit what type of crops you can actually grow. So one of the ideas that we had is actually having a tracking system and then trying to utilize our AI algorithm upon the tracking system to use it through the operation of the APV. So usually when you say tracking system, it only follows the sunlight in order to maximize the generation of solar power. But our system actually concentrated and also focus on crop yield and generation both together to simultaneously move around the sunlight and also considering the generation of the crop yield, and then it moves around with our basis of AI technology. So next slide. I'll show. So this is one algorithm that we're actually, the whole algorithm that we're focusing on. So as you can see, the flow chart of that, what we have developed. So I'll just move quickly on that. So next slide, please. So our algorithm focus on 3 key AI prediction technologies. First was the daily temperature prediction system. This one actually predicts the daily temperature using our sensors that we have installed in our project sites, and it collects data and also predicts the temperature and the temperature of the current location, and then it actually puts it into our AI algorithm. So, and second one was the crop growth prediction system. It used the data that we have collected and actually feed it to our AI algorithm to predict how the crop will grow. And third will be the power generation prediction system. That's very normal for regular PV solar. So those 3 AI engine that we developed will incorporate all the data together, and the AI will automatically let the panel move around in order to incorporate the power generation and also the crop growth. So next slide, please. So SAMs will use this AI algorithm to optimally automate the panels. So AI, we call it, the goal of SAMs is automated intelligent panel control. So it'll, based on our AI algorithm with the crop generation prediction, temperature generation prediction, and also the power generation prediction, it'll automatically move the panel around to provide an optimal condition for the crops. Next slide, please. So yeah, that's more of the technical part. So it is based on a machine learning curve with AI, and with the data collecting, that's why we are trying to implement as many as pilot project around the world, including the Indonesian one, to feed our AI algorithm more data to get the prediction more accurate. So that's we're in the phase of developing that algorithm and making the AI smarter and so on. So next slide, please. So as you can see, this is the actual AI SAM's operated one. It's a video slide, but due to the size and the font system, I couldn't actually play it. But as you can see, the Indonesian one currently does not apply SAMs for now because we're at the final stage of developing. But we have made it the Indonesia model to actually move it's more of a tracking system that has implemented. So it has the option to review the temperature and the climate and the power generated in different modes, and it'll automatically, if we apply SAMs to the Indonesia project in IPB, we will actually try to incorporate. It'll automatically move the panels around to provide optimum conditions. So next slide, please. So as you can see, this is the IPB site. We implemented different types of solar temperature sensors and ground sensor in order to monitor the current condition and also see how the temperature is changing around different period. And based upon that actual data, it'll feed into the AI algorithm and give the maximum of crop yield and power generation. Next slide, please. Yes, so same thing repeated again. So not just the temperature, sunlight, soil temperature, soil moisture. So we're trying to put in a very efficient amount of sensor that can detect all different condition that is very critical for the crop cultivation. Next slide, please. So that's already Papa mentioned that just looking into our one cycle of soybeans, we already seen that under the APV system, not with just before we even implemented SAMs, it showed that the growth of underneath APV was much about 0.5 times higher than the open field, and it's so promising. So we will continuously work with IPB to see how this project works, and after the development of SAMs, we will also have more data regarding our SAMs project. Next slide, please. So not only in Indonesia, we have different projects around the world. Fiji and Vietnam is a ground-mounted not a SAMS project, but more of a fixed angle tilted one. So we are trying to utilize different types of models and based upon our My Power Plant algorithm. So Fiji one's more like a rooftop kind of shading all the areas together. So in Fiji, I think we are promisingly seeing vanilla growing very well. Vietnam, we're actually implementing artichokes, and that's growing well too. Jamaica, we just finished the project about 3-4 months ago, now preparing for agriculture. It's the exact same design with the Indonesia SAMS model, so we can see the difference between different countries, and we will actually have more data collected on. And also we are starting to develop projects in Africa right now. Ethiopia and Rwanda is our target. We actually finished a feasibility study in Rwanda and actually doing a feasibility study in Ethiopia. So hopefully we can see some more progress regarding it. Next slide, please. So future of APBS, this is a similar concept that as Papama mentioned. Next slide, please. So based on our technology, we're not only looking into just APB system. Agriculture, obviously, very important for food security and APV as a renewable energy source. But as we did what we did in IPB, we actually connect the APV system to a e-mobility charging station. What as Papa mentioned, that greenhouse, and also later on, the APV is countering the biochar manufacturing, which is more like the waste management development. And also for envelopes in different countries, and for the next project in Indonesia, we are actually looking into applying the water, energy, food nexus altogether. So water irrigation will be the next choice, cold storage, and those type of all the integrated projects will be planned and installed around the world. Next slide. And also what we're looking into is the robotic schemes also. So we are trying to be more automated projects in the future. Next slide. So I think that's our team. This is what we're doing, developing our technology and what's actually implementing it around the world, in Indonesia also, to try to actually figure out what the optimum condition, what the optimum technology is for APB, and we hope to, I guess, finalize our technology to be more installed around the world. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pak Han. Round of applause. Those are such an insightful discussion, especially on the modeling to optimize both crop yield and energy generation. Now, to kickstart the discussion session, I'd actually like to invite Ibu Dian Novita Susanto, the chairwoman of DPP Perempuan Tani Himpunan Kerukunan Tani Indonesia, to give her feedback from the farmer and agriculture perspective. Ibu Dian, the floor is yours.
Thank you for the time. First of all, I would like to say thank you for being here, and it's such an honor to be here. Allow me to use bahasa Indonesia. So, thank you again, everything. Berbicara tentang petani dan pertanian Indonesia, itu pasti sangat erat kaitannya dengan petani ya. Kalau kita bicara petani di Indonesia itu totalnya ada sekitar 27 juta. Dan di situ ada 8 juta petani perempuan yang juga ikut berkontribusi dalam pertanian Indonesia. Dan kalau kita lihat tadi menarik ya berdiskusi tentang mengenai transmisi energi di Indonesia. Karena khususnya pertanian gitu ya. Karena memang kalau bicara pertanian, pasti itu selalu efek dan juga involved di sektor pertanian itu sendiri gitu ya. Karena memang pertanian di Indonesia ini sangat menggunakan energi yang signifikan. Ya, dan juga penyumbang greenhouse gases emission sekitar 33%. Khususnya di penggunaan lahan dan juga deforestasi. Dan tadi menarik sudah dijelaskan oleh Mr. Jocelyn, Pak Bambang dan juga Mr. Han bagaimana pengaplikasian dari inovasi agri-voltaik ini menjadi menjanjikan di Indonesia. Dan khususnya kalau kita berbicara di area rural yang biasanya memang kekurangan akses terhadap kecukupan energi. Tadi Ibu Mada sudah menjelaskan gitu ya. Jadi memang ini sangat menjanjikan sekali, tapi pertanyaan besarnya adalah di Indonesia ini menghadapi berbagai permasalahan. Tadi kalau kita dengar bukan hanya global climate change ya, yang kita tahu ini juga merusak terhadap pertanian Indonesia dan juga lingkungan tadi juga kita sudah dengarkan karena memang 85% ini Indonesia masih sangat bergantung terhadap fosil. Selain dari lingkungan dan juga global climate change tadi, petani sendiri di Indonesia gitu ya. Jadi kalau kita bicara petani, ini kebanyakan petani di Indonesia, dari 27 juta petani di Indonesia, 17 juta petani Indonesia adalah petani kecil yang memang mengkultivate itu kurang dari 1 hektar. Dan rata-rata mereka mengkultivate lahan yaitu sekitar 2.000 sampai 300 meter persegi. Ya, jadi bisa dibayangkan. Selanjutnya yang dihadapi dari petani Indonesia adalah bukan hanya kepemilikan lahan yang kecil, namun juga kebanyakan petani Indonesia adalah petani penggarap ya. Jadi mereka masih menyewa dengan high cost dan sebagainya gitu. Selanjutnya kalau kita bicara lagi mengenai pertanian Indonesia, kebijakan dan regulasinya ini masih kadang-kadang uncertainty ya. Kalau kita bicara di sini kita berbicara mengenai energi transisi. Ini energi terbarukan. Sayangnya saat ini kalau bicara tentang pertanian yang masih tradisional saja, ini mengenai kebijakannya masih uncertainty gitu ya. Tidak ada insentif yang khusus yang direct untuk petani gitu. Nah ini bagaimana ke depannya regulasi ini kita bisa bicarakan bersama-sama. Lalu dari financing dan juga infrastruktur gitu. Nah tadi kalau didengar karena petani di Indonesia ini memang adalah petani kecil, bagaimana dengan pemanfaatan dari agri-voltaik ini bisa sejalan dengan apa sebetulnya keinginan dari petani Indonesia. Kalau kita bicara tentang inovasi dan teknologi, sekarang kita banyak tahu ya tentang inovasi, contohnya penggunaan aplikasi di handphone. Itu kan sebenarnya tidak serta-merta orang berbondong-bondong untuk ikut menggunakan aplikasi itu. Apa manfaat yang akan kita dapatkan dari penggunaan aplikasi itu? Nah, sekarang pertanyaan besarnya adalah karena ini bicara tentang petani dan pertanian Indonesia, apakah Indonesia sudah siap untuk itu semua tadi? ya dengan petani kecil dan juga berbagai permasalahan yang ada gitu ya. Tentunya saya sebagai Ketua Umum Perempuan Tani HKTI ini sangat senang dan sangat berharap diskusi ini bukan hanya sampai di sini, Ibu Mada dan juga teman-teman semua, karena nanti mungkin kita ke depan bagaimana bisa tadi Pak Bambang menyampaikan sudah sampai ke Bappenas ya Pak ya. Ini sangat baik sekali karena memang kedepannya bagaimana kita bisa menjawab SDGs gitu ya, Sustainable Development Goals yang nomor 7 mengenai energi bersih dan terjangkau untuk semuanya gitu. Dan kalau kita lihat juga di RPJMN kita, ini bagaimana nanti kita bersama-sama memperkuat ketahanan ekonomi dari bawah, itu adalah dari petani juga dan juga mengatasi perubahan iklim. Mungkin dari saya itu semoga cukup membawa diskusi ini lebih fruitful. Sekali lagi saya ucapkan terima kasih kepada Ibu Mada sebagai sahabat saya dan juga teman-teman semua di sini. Saya sudahi, terima kasih.
Terima kasih banyak. Before we actually go to the question from the participants both in Zoom and in the room, any remarks or comments from the panelists on the statement? Pak Bambang, silahkan.
Baik, terima kasih Bu Dian. Jadi beberapa efforts memang sudah kita coba karena bagaimanapun Bappenas adalah institusi yang membuat policy-nya. Jadi semua policy itu ada di Bappenas. Nah, tadi Bu Dian menyampaikan ada petani gurem. Jadi petani kecil, petani penggarap. Nah ini pernah kita coba membuat simulasi bagaimana kalau petani-petani tadi, misalnya dalam Gapoktan atau Poktan, itu berkumpul menjadi satu, mengkontribusikan lahannya dalam bentuk konsolidasi lahan. Kita pernah simulasikan itu, kita pernah mencoba menggali, tapi sayangnya gagal. Nah jadi di kita di Indonesia konsolidasi lahan tadi itu seperti konflik of interest untuk masing-masing individu petani. Nah jadi ini agak lebih sulit untuk, artinya lebih menantang bagaimana membuat para petani yang kecil-kecil tadi itu bisa berkolaborasi sehingga EPV project ini itu make sense untuk skala ekonomi. Nah itu kami sudah simulasikan, kami tahu challenge-nya seperti apa, tapi kami belum tahu jawabannya. Jadi kira-kira seperti itu. Tapi kami akan masih mencoba membuat simulasinya. Kemudian isu tentang financing. Nah, financing ini yang ada di Indonesia baru pada taraf EPV untuk riset. Skalanya skala riset. Nah, fase kedua dari proyek ini itu semi komersial. Nah, semoga tahun depan kita punya kelas semi komersial, ukurannya sama, tapi treatmentnya adalah semi komersial. Nah begitu semi komersial ini sudah kita establish, sudah kita bentuk, baru kemudian PR berikutnya adalah value chain-nya seperti apa. Nah begitu economics of EPV ini kita sudah tahu, baru kemudian kita bisa full scale. Jadi kira-kira tahapannya seperti itu, Bu. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih Pak Bambang. Sebelum kita ke teman-teman yang di ruangan, ada satu pertanyaan dari Zoom. There's this one question from our online participant. And the question is, considering Indonesia's tropical climate and agricultural practices, which type of PV module, be it monofacial, bifacial, or semi-transparent, would be most suitable for an agri-photovoltaic system? And what type of crops could thrive under these modules? And if you also see the kind of business model like land leasing, joint venture, co-ops that ensure economic feasibility and fair benefit for Indonesian farmer. Perhaps we can take turn in answering that because some of them is pretty technical. Pak Han or Jocelyn, if you want to tackle the most suitable type of solar PV for Indonesia's tropical climate and agricultural practices. And perhaps Pak Bambang can explore more on the crop type. Yeah.
Okay. I'll go first, I guess. For us, in our company our aspect, I think I don't think there's an actual specific type of PV module that's suitable for Indonesia or different type of world. That's what our approach is as a PV technology company. That's why we're doing different projects all around the world to incorporate all the different type of climate and different type of conditions. And also, it's hard to actually say what it is because as you see the climate change, we can just see it right now. The climate will drastically change over the years, so that condition will change. That's why we're trying to implement a new technology to optimize what the condition is currently now, and also actually looking into the future climates and see how it goes. So I think also the PV modules technology is improving a lot. As you can see, the older modules is only 100 watts. Some of them was glass to glass, penetrating. Some of the APV projects implement like small, specific, special type of module. But I think it'll depend on the analysis of what the current condition is of that site. So I think depending on the technology improvement, we have to look into adapting the new technologies and the new climate change and the current situation, looking into all three of them to actually design what it is. So I don't think it's a set one type of panel what's better or not, but we need to consider it, design it well, and to see the success of it. I hope that answers the question.
It does, Pak Bambang. Oh,
Maybe
Jocelyn, yes, go ahead.
Add something. So I totally agree with you. So the experience I have from Switzerland, from Europe, there are no one solution for a country. There are no one solution for a crop. It's really depending on the situation, as you mentioned, of the climate. We may use semi-transparent panel, bifacial panel, monofacial panel. I think the best is to use bifacial panels because then we can still produce on both sides of the panels, but it's always depending on the situation, and also they are probably a bit more costly than the classic monofacial panels. But there are no one solution for one crop and one situation. Maybe just to mention, usually the tracking system for an agronomic part for crop production is a bit better because we may adapt directly the light to the plants, but of course it's then more costly. So there are no one solution. We cannot answer the question saying, okay, you will always use semi-transparent panel, for example, in Indonesia and so on. And maybe for the crops, I'm not that much aware of the crops in Indonesia, but for me, and as we have done in Switzerland, we are looked firstly of which crops has problem on field. Do some crops are already covered or not on field? And we are started by here, and after that we expand it for other crops. But we are starting with crops that have problem on field, and then expand it to some other crops that may also be suitable to the system.
Yeah. Pak Bambang?
Thank you. Actually selecting the suitable crops is pretty much challenging. That's because we don't really know what kind of crops suits well in the agri-photovoltaic. We have planted the soybeans, and it looks like pretty much higher than the usual open field agriculture. So it's our first trial is pretty much excellent. We will continue the second phase of the soybeans planting. And the other plants that we have experienced before is peanuts. Peanuts is equally equally same growth with among the open field agriculture. So it means that you will have similar benefit in terms of crops, but you will add more benefit from the energy. We also planted the ginger, so it's a pretty bad choice actually. Why was that? It's because the Agri-Photovoltaic attracts more weeds, so it means that you need to take care more efforts, more manpower planning to remove the weeds. So we just have about 3 different crops so far, and we actually start trialing the table grapes. So I don't know. We also try to plant the blueberries. So who knows?
And I understand that we're still in the pilot phase, but do you have any idea, or perhaps Pak Han or Jocelyn, from the experience in Switzerland, what type of business model, like land leasing, co-op, or joint venture, that we can explore? Or is it like all of them?
Okay.
Well,
go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Okay. Well, actually, there are a lot of possibilities. What we have in Switzerland, we have farmers that have built their own system, so they are managing A to Z the system. So energy production, electricity production, food production, which is definitely good in terms of crop management, and also they have the power on managing the system. Otherwise, you also have the possibilities that the farmer rents the land, and then you an energy company use the land and build the system on the land. And there you may facing some challenges depending on, for example, if you have a tracking system, do you put more light for the energy production or for the food production? And sometimes it may be a bit difficult to manage all the system as all the, so for example, the energy reseller wants more energy production, and the farmer sometimes at the same time wants to have more light to the plants. So there the management is a bit different. But for me, you have all possibilities at the farm level. So just depending on the situation, also a farmer, for example, in Switzerland, build the system and sell directly the energy to a local consumer. So depending on the situation, always.
Yeah, so I'm the only businessman here, I guess. So as a business model, he mentioned that I think the easiest business model is just having directly selling the electricity generated plus selling the crops cultivated under it. That'll be the simplest model, but in realistical world, that's the hardest part of actually getting all the agreement to sell the electricity plus selling the crops, having the distribution channel and so on. So in that's the simplest one, but realistically the hardest one. So what we're trying to do, I think one of the key thing that we're looking into is, I mentioned that the future is the water, energy, food nexus. So if we can actually have some kind of solution to utilize the electricity generated within the project, or the farmer can have, not really the farmer, but some kind of, cooperative can work too. But if we can somehow use up the electricity generated from the APV, such as e-mobility or a cold chain storage or a processing plant, that might be a little different for the farmer. But as a businessman, the best business model can be that, and actually selling the after product rather than just selling the raw crops itself. So we'll save money from using our own electricity, renewable energy, and then selling the product from as a aftermarket product. So I think that's more of the easy as a business aspect. But yeah, I think there needs to be more development of the, as I mentioned, the easiest model, just selling the electricity and selling the crops underneath.
Thank you. Now, I think we have time for one question from the audience before we move to the next panel. Yes, the gentleman in the middle. Sorry.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for your time, Jocelyn, Pak Bambang, and Han. I would like to ask regarding the other type of Agri-PV that we know that there is potential for Agri-PV to be used directly as a irrigation. So we pumping from the aquifer and use it directly to the paddy field, rain-fed paddy field or sawah tada hujan, as well as like Bu Dian said regarding petani penggarap, petani kecil, because a lot of petani kecil usually they work more on the rice field. Is there any case study regarding the use of Agri-PV in that case? And if yes, please kindly share. But if no, what's hindering the study and the business tapping into that business model, or at least to that research? Thank you very much. Oh yeah, my name is Daniel from GIZ. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. The panelists. Who want to go first?
Well, I just didn't understand everything. It's really getting a typical crop, or?
It's on the irrigation, but I think Pak Bambang wants to have a go first.
Okay. Thanks, Pak Daniel. Actually, we will plan possibly within 2 or 3 months setting up the water pump from our APV project. That's because in our research station we have issues of drought, severe drought. Actually, in the last 2 or 3 years ago, we have extremely dry season, and we will in a couple of 2 or 3 months we plan to make some bore water pumping from the neighboring lakes or ponds, and the outcome is not entirely known so far, but I guess for the irrigation, the amount of energy itself is quite low, so it's possibly negligible in terms of our APV capacity. Pak Han, you need to add more?
So in irrigation systems, I think mostly they use the pump itself with just panel on the top. So that's the simplest way. As you know, APV system is a stationary project within the agricultural field. So in order to go to the water and give the electricity to that pump, it'll be more money connecting the energy to the actual pump. So it's not really, if it's the somehow using the pump itself near the water and the connection is not there, well, it'll be easier to use the irrigation itself. But I think in that economical wise, it's usually easier for just using a irrigation pump with solar panel. So it's the same concept, but a different kind of type. So I think that can answer his question. Thank you.
Thank you. Jocelyn, do you have any addition to that on the pump and the irrigation system in the Agri-PV?
Well, for us in Switzerland, we didn't combine this on field because we have actually a good connection to irrigation system. But I heard about a project in Africa, for example, where they combine those two stuff, so energy production and directly using in a pumping system. And also they are collecting water from the panels and restore them and then reuse it in the system. So definitely it's possible, but probably for business model, it's better to directly put panels on the pump or link directly the pump to the grid. This is I don't know this part, but definitely it's possible to combine a pumping system with agrivoltaics. Yes.
Okay, I'd like to invite you all to give a round of applause to our panelists for the first panel. Thank you very much, Pak Bambang, Pak Han, and Jocelyn. Thank you very much. Now we're going to start the second panel. While on the first panel, we talk about the technology, the innovation, the possibility of combining technology, agricultural practices, as well as solar PV. On the second panel, we're going to discuss about the enabling condition for Agri-PV to be able to thrive in Indonesia. We're going to see what are the systemic enablers that are required, regulatory system, policy framework, grid infrastructure, as well as the investment readiness. We want to discuss what is needed to accelerate deployment, to ensure grid compatibility, and how do we unlock different financing mechanism. And for that, I'd like to invite Pak Zainal Arifin, the Executive Vice President of Renewable Energy PT PLN Persero, to join us on the stage. I'd also like to invite Pak Praptono Adi Sulistomo from Koordinator Investasi and Kerjasama Aneka EBT. Please join us at the stage. Mari Pak. And last but not least, I'd like to invite Pak Adi Pranasatrya, the Head of Advisory and Project Development Division from PT SMI Persero. All right, now we're going to start the second session, and without further ado, the role of EBTKE, PLN, and PT SMI are important in creating this enabling environment and systemic support. Now, from the PLN perspective, PLN is definitely the central actor in grid and electricity in Indonesia, and to enable scalable Agri-PV solution, we need grid integration, we need utility-scale renewable energy, and those are the key. And I want to hear from Pak Zainal from PLN, what can we do to foster better enabling environment and system change to support Agri-PV? Pak Zainal, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Please allow me to stand. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat siang ya. Because most participant Indonesian, please allow me to speak in bilingual language. So bahasa in English. Langsung aja next, please. Yeah, in view of PLN as electricity utility company, actually, we need to build more and more renewable energy, especially solar PV, and this is the planning. In next 10 years, we have to build new 17 gigawatt. So this is the timeline, this is the location, this is the capacity, and this is the timeline every year. So we need more energy coming from the renewable energy, especially for the solar PV. Next, please. If we talk about the PV, actually the basic configuration of PV consists of three types: rooftop, ground mounted, and floating. Look like the PV Agri like a PV ground mounted. Yeah. Dari sisi PLN sebetulnya kita itu tidak membedakan antara rooftop, ground mounted atau floating. Karena the most important thing for PLN, the electricity quality, whatever the location, whatever the technology. Yeah. Next. So if we talk about the land utilization, we already know well that the one of the most challenging issue we build renewable energy, because renewable energy is high intensive land use comparing than fossil. For example, if we want to build 1,000 megawatt of power plant, we need only 100 hectare for coal fire. But we can able to build this energy, produce energy at the similar amount with solar PV at least 1,000 hectare. maybe not only 1,000, but if we talk about the some amount of energy produced with the similar, the same amount energy producing by the power plant, we need at least 5,000 hectare for building the PV solar. But for example, for the fossil, we need only 100 hectare. This is one of the challenging we have to develop renewable energy. Why we shifting to the floating? Because it's not easy to build ground mounted, not easy to do land acquisition. So this is a several project ongoing. Right now we have Cirata, and next will be Saguling, Singkara, Karangkates, Gajah Mungkur, Kedung Ombak, and so on. This is one solution we try to solve for build more and more PV solar. Next. And also we try to reduce the diesel. We still have more than 300 diesel engine around Indonesia, especially at isolated remote area. This is very costly and still use imported solar fuel. So it's not good and also still produce CO2 emission. So we would like to reduce the diesel with hybrid the existing diesel with PV and battery. This also one solution. We try to increase the renewable energy, especially using PV solar. Next. So how about PV Agri? If we look at to the global data, we can see up to 2020 actually already 3 gigawatt dual use Agri-Photovoltaic. But if we consider the agriculture hybrid can be up 14 gigawatt. This is one of example. So the question is, what role of PV Agri to accelerating the renewable energy development in Indonesia? Next. This is one of example ada already a pilot project in Pulau Semau by the BS use the PV Agri for reducing diesel and provide the renewable energy for maybe irrigation and also ada purposes like drying and lighting, but still it's very small and pilot project. Next. So if we talk about the opportunity, di atas kertas sih potensinya besar. Kalau kita lihat pertanian kita 60 juta hektar. Di atas kertas kalau kita bisa ambil 1% saja, bisa menghasilkan 600 gigawatt peak energi. Total sekarang kapasitas energi Indonesia itu hanya 70 giga. Seolah-olah pakai ini selesai gitu ya. Ini di atas kertas. We can increase the dual land use and avoid the land use competition. Sometimes we know we fact because land should be for agriculture, should be for the industry. And also the second, we still have more opportunity for increasing the renewable energy. Kalau solar itu kan dari total potensial kita baru manfaatkan lebih dari 1% gitu ya. Kemudian berikutnya rural electrification, bisa juga tadi pumping di lokasi-lokasi yang remote yang ada listriknya dan sebagainya. Next. Pertanyaannya sebetulnya dalam konteks energi, dalam konteks menjawab permasalahan tantangan penyediaan PV solar, apa yang ditawarkan oleh PV Agri? Ada 3 hal yang sebetulnya jadi kendala pengembangan PV solar di Indonesia. Satu, lokal konten. Ini tidak akan dijawab oleh PV Agri. Teknologinya juga masih dari asing. Yang kedua adalah kemudahan eksekusi. Ini mungkin jadi solusi. Land acquisition can be solved by utilize the existing farm ya. Ini maybe. Kemudian sistem. Bagaimana kesiapan connectivity to the grid. Ini tidak pengaruh. PV agri, ground mounted, floating sama masalahnya. Jadi yang diadres oleh PV agri ini kalau dari perspektif kami sebagai penyandang energi mungkin bisa menjadi solusi mempercepat penyiapan lahan. Ya. Dari segi yang lain-lain tetap masalahnya yang dihadapi tidak terselesaikan dengan PV agri. Next. Ya tentunya selain ada opportunity, ada challenge issue ya. Pertama regulatory, ini mungkin nanti bapak-bapak yang di pertanian lebih tahu. Kita tidak mengenal dual use land ya. Jadi kalau sudah ini zona industri ya zona industri, zona pertanian. Saya tidak tahu ini seperti apa nanti perizinannya. Kemudian high initial capital cost, ini yang jadi concern. Jadi PLTS ini akan lebih mahal dari PLTS biasa. Ya, concern saya sebetulnya adalah dengan petani-petani gurem itu mampu ndak mereka bikin PV agri? Bayangan saya begini, petani kita itu butuh modal untuk menanam padinya atau butuh modal untuk bikin PV-nya? Itu pertama. Kedua, butuh modalnya lebih banyak mana? Mengembangkan pertaniannya dengan baik atau bikin PLTS? Gitu. Hipotesis saya jauh lebih besar modal yang dibutuhkan untuk bikin PLTS dibanding untuk mengembangkan pertaniannya sendiri. Jadi ya itu juga petani gurem ya gimana bisa punya akses ke bank atau ke lender, itu juga isu lainnya. Ya bayang kita jangan bandingin farmer itu dengan farmernya di New Zealand, di UK gitu ya. Tadi udah sampaikan sama ibu itu. Berikutnya technical complexity. Next, belum mas. Ini tadi ya. Jadi pertanyaannya kalau sudah bisa bangun gitu ya, petani tadi punya enggak kemampuan OM? Ini juga jadi isu gitu. Tidak mudah gitu. Punya orang yang bisa bertani dan bisa mengoperasikan PLTS. Ya. Next. Kemudian ini mungkin Bapak yang dari IPB tahu lah ya. Tidak semua jenis tanaman itu cocok untuk dikasih under partial shading. Ya. Enggak tahu saya, tembakau bisa enggak, Pak? Belum tahu ya. Jadi ini juga sangat kuncinya kan di situ. Tidak semua tanaman bisa dipasangi PLTS karena ada partial shading tadi. Berikutnya grid integration. Ini juga isu yang sebetulnya bukan hanya untuk PV agri, untuk PLTS manapun ini jadi masalah gitu ya. Tapi ini akan menjadi concern nanti. Next. Jadi pertanyaan terbesarnya sebetulnya kalau kita mau bikin PV agri, listriknya dipakai untuk apa? Itu bisnis modelnya akan totally berbeda. Dipakai untuk water, untuk energi, untuk food, beda. Ini yang pertama harus didefine dulu. Filosofi bangun sawah sama filosofi bangun PLTS totally different. Next. Kemudian lokasinya mau connect ke jaringannya PLN atau off grid, itu juga totally different. Kalau kita mau off grid, Bapak Ibu punya kesulitan sendiri, harus masang baterai. Karena intermittent, kita mau pompa nunggu mataharinya jam 12 peak gitu ya, pompanya bisa ini, tidak bisa anytime. Supaya suplai listriknya continue, harus disimpan dalam baterai. Itu kalau off grid. Ya kita ngomong kan matahari jam sekian sampai jam sekian, tapi intermittent. Listrik kita ini kan continue. Nggak ada kita ngecas gitu, ngandelin listrik langsung. Karena frekuensinya nggak stabil, bisa rusak. Kemudian berikutnya tentunya tadi ya kalau dia off-grid butuh itu, kemudian ini ada kondisi yang dilematis. Kalau pertanyaannya itu ada dekat dengan jaringannya PLN, pertanyaannya selanjutnya, berapa biaya listrik dari PLTS Agri-PV ini? Kalau sudah dekat dengan jaringan listriknya PLN, lebih mahal, PLN tidak mau beli. Ya, to be fair, kita bukan corporate social responsibility company gitu. Ini jadi concern. Jadi kalau dia dekat dengan jaringan PLN, memang potensi untuk connect-nya besar. Tidak perlu bikin jaringan lagi gitu ya. Reduce cost significantly. Tetapi di satu sisi ada trade off. Berapa produksi listrik dari PLTS ini supaya bisa diaksep oleh PLN. Karena market itu customer realistis. Ketika petani sudah dekat sama jaringannya PLN, ngapain saya bikin PLTS gitu ya? Kalau untuk keperluannya sendiri. Toh saya kalau ke listriknya PLN lebih andal, harganya ya seperti kita tahu gitu. Itu juga mungkin perlu jadi PR kita bersama. Mungkin itu yang perlu saya sampaikan. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Terima kasih banyak Pak Zainal. Sekarang kita bergeser ke Pak Praptono Adi nih dari sisi EBT-nya sendiri untuk regulatory sama policy framework-nya dan outlook untuk successful Agri-PV implementation dari DJB EBTKE itu seperti apa? Silahkan.
Baik, terima kasih. Mohon izin. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih atas undangannya ya untuk memaparkan. Jadi sebenarnya paparan yang dari kami tadi udah di cover banyak banget dari Pak Zainal, mungkin 80%, jadi mungkin saya coba lebih cepat aja ya karena mungkin basically sama karena memang dan PV Agri mungkin banyak barang baru juga di Indonesia dari sisi sebagai komersial ya, ketika dia dari sisi komersial. Jadi kalau untuk proyek-proyek CSR ataupun proyek yang berbasis APBN memang sudah ada atau dari mitra donor. Oke. Jadi mungkin ini lanjut pertama kami coba membahas dari sisi policy framework ya dari. Nah ini mungkin sekilas terkait energi mix yang sekarang bagaimana awal kita menuju ke kemandirian energi. Lanjut aja. Nah ini tadi untuk potensi ya, untuk potensi tadi Pak Zainal sudah menyampaikan khusus untuk surya. Jadi suryanya memang besar sekali potensinya, tapi memang yang termanfaatkan baru kecil. Nah ini memang ini secara umum untuk semua jenis energi, semua jenis energi baik yang terbarukan, ini yang energi terbarukan termasuk yang baru dan terbarukan ya di sini. Oke lanjut. Nah ini untuk RUKN, jadi ini secara umum dari pemerintah bagaimana pemanfaatan listrik ke depan, rencana umum ketenaga listrikan nasional. Kita lihat yang warna kuning ini solar ini 109 gigawatt ya, rencana yang akan dikembangkan, sementara yang sekarang masih sangat kecil. Jadi ini beberapa jenis energi baru dan terbarukan yang lain dari ocean sampai baterai storage. Ini untuk khusus yang warna kuning ini untuk solar. Lanjut. Nah ini kita mulai menginjak terkait dengan solar PV. Dan ini tadi sudah disampaikan Pak Zainal juga nih. Sebenarnya kami juga membuat sedikit hitung-hitungan sederhana terkait dengan berapa sih kebutuhan lahan untuk solar PV kalau mau mengoptimalkan potensi yang ada, dan memang dan juga untuk lahan-lahan yang tidak produktif itu juga sudah kita perhitungkan juga ada 12 juta hektar dan selama ini memang lahan-lahan non produktif ini yang menjadi sasaran atau menjadi lokasi prospektif untuk PV ground mounted untuk ini. Nah, memang untuk PV ini spesifiknya memang sangat rakus lahan ya. Jadi memang ekstensif, lahannya butuh yang sangat besar untuk menghasilkan daya. Makanya ada permasalahan land use, jadi land use persaingan penggunaan lahan karena memang tidak dikenal penggunaan lahan ganda ya di Indonesia ini secara dari kebijakan. Lanjut. Nah, sementara kita juga mengenal, nah ini salah satu drivernya adalah segitiga ini ya, bahwa water, energy, food nexus ini adalah drivernya untuk mengapa sih kita perlu mengoptimalkan lahan dan tidak bergantung saja kepada lahan non produktif yang sudah ada. Jadi kita membutuhkan energi, tapi juga kita ada ketergantungan dengan kebutuhan pangan dan kebutuhan air. Jadi dan ketiga sisi ini memang bisa salah satu solusinya adalah Agri-Photovoltaic atau PV Agri. Nah, ini juga sesuai dengan SDG 2, 7, 12 dan 13 ya. Jadi di sini kebutuhannya bisa masuk untuk PV Agri. Jadi ini beberapa contoh yang sudah ada yang kami ambil dari beberapa literatur bahwa memang selama ini sudah mungkin di Indonesia mungkin masih lebih banyak untuk irigasi ya. Jadi PV untuk irigasi, tapi sebenarnya sudah cukup banyak, jadi bisa berfungsi dual sebagai lahan pertanian dan pembangkitan listrik melalui solar PV ini. Bahkan ada juga yang untuk peternakan juga ya. Lanjut. Nah, ini tadi sudah disampaikan dari beberapa penggunaan solar PV, rooftop, solar large scale sama floating. Nah, lanjut. Nah, ini beberapa regulasi yang saat ini sudah ada ya. Jadi berangkat dari UU Energi, kemudian Perpres 112 tentang harga jual listrik, kemudian ini untuk PLTS atap, Permen ESDM nomor 2 tahun 2024. Kemudian TKDN, nah ini yang tadi disampaikan Pak Zainal, ini diatur di Permen 11 tahun 2024, kemudian ini juga tahun untuk community based in daerah terpencil, ini diatur juga Permen ESDM nomor 39 tahun 2017, juga untuk Permen ESDM nomor 2020 ya, terkait dengan penyediaan tenaga listrik. Kami beberapa sedang menyiapkan regulasi-regulasi turunan atau juga untuk penggantian, termasuk juga untuk hybrid power plants ya. Jadi dan juga yang paling utama adalah RUU EPET, dan nanti kami harapkan juga nantinya PV Agri ini bisa dimasukkan ke dalam RUU EPET untuk menjadi cantolan hukum nantinya, karena ada beberapa hal yang perlu menjadi tantangan di dalam RUU EPET di dalam PV Agri ini. Lanjut. Nah, ini tadi beberapa contoh ya. Jadi ada beberapa, memang sudah ada beberapa yang kami lakukan untuk pemanfaatan PV, baik untuk agri, untuk solar ice maker, untuk pengering, dryer, atau bahkan untuk PV boat. Ini kebetulan ada kerjasama kami dengan lembaga mitra donor ya, dari yang telah kami lakukan beberapa hal. Jadi dan ini mendapat tanggapan positif dari masyarakat, dari pemanfaatan langsung. Memang untuk yang agri, yang untuk dual dengan crop memang masih sedikit, lebih banyak untuk ya sebagai penyiram atau pompa air, atau bahkan untuk kapal ini yang di NTT ini. Lanjut. Nah, ini tadi juga sudah disampaikan untuk di Semau Island tadi udah ada slide-nya juga dari Pak Jainal. Jadi beberapa kita udah melakukan kerjasama dengan GIZ, kemudian ada juga TPS Energi Utama juga melakukan hal yang sama di Semau ini. Pada intinya dia menggunakan solar PV untuk pompa air untuk irigasi. Jadi lebih kepada faktor irigasinya. Jadi tidak numpang PV-nya tidak numpang atau di atas lahan pertaniannya, tapi lebih smart irrigation ya. Jadi untuk pengairan ya di situ. Dan ini memang dilakukan melalui dari GIZ maupun dari CSR-nya TPS Energi Utama dan Semesta Energy Services. Lanjut. Nah ini untuk juga dari kerjasama dengan mitra donor untuk di PLTS Matahari ini juga sebagai irigasi juga di Sumba kalau ini ya. PLTS Matahari untuk ada 98 kW peak dan 250 kWh baterai untuk irigasi kebanyakan. Lanjut. Nah ini masalah dual land use ya. Jadi tadi sudah disampaikan bahwa ini beberapa yang kami coba carikan dari beberapa literatur, dari beberapa dari Cina maupun dan juga beberapa dan harus hal-hal yang menjadi pendekatan mereka ya. Jadi melakukan pendekatan teknis maupun pembuatan legal frameworks, kemudian juga bagaimana pengembangan teknologi, bagaimana mengembangkan spesifik untuk Agri-PV, karena memang Agri-PV ini tidak ada solusi tunggal, pasti akan berbeda baik dari lokasi, site spesifik lokasinya berbeda, tanamannya berbeda, mungkin juga misalnya untuk kebutuhan air juga bisa jadi berbeda karena cropsnya juga berbeda pula. Lanjut. Nah ini mungkin tantangannya ya. Jadi untuk melakukan PV Agri ini kita harus melakukan pemetaan potensi. Jadi potensi mana aja, daerah yang mana yang bisa dilakukan, termasuk juga lahan-lahan produksinya atau tanamannya yang cocok itu apa yang ada di situ. Kemudian kebutuhan perairannya, kemudian segi geografisnya ya, apakah lahannya miring atau berbatu, kemudian dekat dengan jaringan PLN atau tidak. Nah seperti itu juga secara potensial, dan juga adanya komunitas pertanian atau koperasi yang sudah dari penduduk setempat yang siap untuk mengelola. Nah ini faktor-faktor yang menjadi penentu dalam potensial mapping. Kemudian kebutuhan ini ya, crops ya, tanaman yang cocok. Jadi tidak semua tanaman itu cocok untuk diberikan shading PV. Kemudian teknologinya bagaimana, strukturnya, karena tidak semua juga tanaman cocok, mungkin bisa berbeda-beda ketinggian dan juga bisnis model. Dan ini dari beberapa literatur yang kami baca juga sampai dihitung berapa carbon footprint-nya ya. Jadi misalnya struktur solar PV-nya terlalu banyak, jadi untuk galvaniumnya terlalu banyak, akhirnya carbon footprint-nya jadi besar. Nah ini termasuk juga diperhitungkan hal seperti itu. Dan juga bisnis model yang cocok untuk masyarakat sekitar, atau apakah ini mau listriknya mau dijual ke PLN atau mau dipakai sendiri untuk mengembangkan pertanian atau untuk pengeringan atau pendinginan ikan atau produk-produk pertanian. Nah kemudian financing. Nah ini financing di sini kan posisinya mereka adalah skala kecil ya. Jika kami juga sedang mengadakan studi terkait hal ini, jadi kebutuhannya kira-kira berapa, dan itu berkisar antara 100 sampai 500 juta ya. Dari kemarin saya dengan mitra donor itu melakukan studi yang untuk terkait financing ini kebutuhannya berapa, dan misalnya kebutuhan ini memang tidak sampai 500 juta, jadi sekitaran 350 juta ya, tergantung teknologi apa yang dipakai, seberapa kompleks lokasinya, mungkin berapa, misalnya pompa airnya butuh berapa KWP PV-nya, dan ini financing skala kecil ini memang masih menjadi tantangan, mungkin bisa nanti akan dibahas juga bagaimana yang cocok, termasuk juga penjaminannya, karena ini bisnis modelnya beda. Kemudian apakah ini bisa dilakukan pendanaan melalui APBN, dan di mana untuk APBN ini ada regulasi-regulasi yang mengikuti ya, terkait dengan BAST atau serah terima dari pemerintah pusat ke daerah, kemudian aspek sustainability-nya. Jadi, dan pemerintah juga melakukan, sedang mengkaji juga apakah model ini bisa dilakukan dengan APBN. Mungkin itu saja. Lanjut, kayaknya udah slide terakhir nih. Next, ya, ini slide terakhir. Ya, terima kasih atas perhatian. Mohon maaf ada kurang. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih banyak. Nah, tadi juga sudah dibahas bahwa salah satu kebutuhannya itu adalah affordable financing, dan juga bagaimana infrastructure development-nya juga harus dilihat. Ini kayaknya segue yang sangat baik untuk beranjak ke PT SMI. Silahkan Pak Adi.
Baik. Selamat sore, assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Injury time, alas sesi terakhir biasa pada ngantuk, mudah-mudahan masih semangat. So I'll just briefly elaborate what SME part. Basically, I think first of all, the agro system is basically we never have a financing to agro, but I think we will elaborate more on the PV side. So although tadi dari Pak Zainal dan Pak Pratomo juga, is basically the business model is something new, but I think from SMI perspective, I would like to share more perhaps on the PV business that has been established, which is PPA based and also CNI type of business. Okay, next. So basically, this is the study that conducted the fund that required for the agri-food system, ranging from 30 to 280 billions, depends on the scope globally. Next. Financial investment landscape for agri-food system. So basically, since I think lack of financially feasible, we would say that mostly still funded by the public or APBN or a donor. So the point is that the involvement of the private is, I think, still less than 20%. Next. So basically those sumber dana mengapa seperti itu perhaps also reflects that basically this sector may have a marginal or a limited financial visibility. Climate change financing needs in Indonesia, sekilas aja. So basically we highlight two related sector in this discussion, energy and also the agriculture, mostly in energy, forestry. So basically, if we talk about the climate change financing needs, of course, it covers across sectors, and the most fund that needed is basically from the energy side. Next. So SME sedikit explain what is SMI. So basically SMI it's a financing entity. We lend, we meminjamkan fund, but only to infrastructure sector because that's our mandate. But I think the other things that also would like to highlight is we have three business pillars. So basically, first is financing. So to make it simple, we have like a similar with other banks. We also sometimes collaborate with other himbara in financing infrastructure sector. I think the uniqueness of SMI is on the public finance side. we are the only institution that can lend to municipals throughout Indonesia by mandate. So I think that's SMI unique position compared to other commercial banks and financial institutions. Also, pillar number 3 is basically advisory and project preparation. Because SMI is established not only to carry commercial role, but also development side. So that's why our mandates also have not only financing in terms of the commercial, but we also have public financing and also advisory and also project development. In terms of the financing, our products also are ranging compared to commercial banks, for example. That's the infrastructure sector that we cover. So basically, on agri, we can only cover if it's related to infrastructure, for example, the irrigation and also the transportation, etc. But for the agri itself, unfortunately, it's not eligible to be financed by SMI. But the solar PV, of course, it's eligible. It's part of solar electricity and power generation. Next. Okay, this is SMI product to support private IPP. So basically, we have blended finance platform, SDG Indonesia One. So basically, this is the platform to show our development role. So basically, we cater the donors from various organizations to support infrastructure development in Indonesia, but mostly they have interest in climate change related projects. Next. This is as our mandate is also to focus among others to support and to encourage the renewables. The current our portfolio in renewables, we have 52 projects comprised of almost all renewables project, geothermal, biomass, mini hydro and hydro, solar PV. Our portfolio pretty much reflects what is the current renewables sector in Indonesia. Mini hydro mostly terbanyak karena yang mature relatively si hydro and mini hydro. We also have solar PV. Tadi Pak Zainal mention solar PV di Tembesi, Toba. We are the sole lenders for those. Next. Financing process, basically financing process, the point is that it has to be financially feasible because we are as state-owned enterprise, kita tidak mau financing tidak bisa kembali, it's kerugian negara, etc., etc. So we have to ensure that it's financially feasible. This is basically to say that we have a scorecard, we have a parameter, certain parameter. The financing could be corporate financing or project financing in various sector, depends on the needs. But usually, if it's PPA based, usually in the form of project financing, not corporate financing. But for CNI, based on our experience, basically it's some sort of like combination between project and corporate financing. Next. This is basically due diligence process. We have to consider all aspects, legal, tax, technical, feedstock, if it's biomass, for example. Of course, we have to also consider market, insurance, and others. Next. Okay, so basically we do have the SDG Indonesia one. It's basically to some sort of a platform managing the donors from various countries and institutions, and they typically have interest to support solar PV. For example, in this case, in one project, the donors have interest to support the transaction costs for the project, and then we contributes to the project, and we channel the fund, grant fund to the projects. Next. Next example is this is Tembesi. Yeah, unfortunately, it's not in agri. It's PPA type of solar PV business model. We channel the grant to the projects. So basically, this is the example of our real contribution to as a blended finance. We combine a commercial loan with the grant to support the bankability and financial feasibility of the project. I think from the lender's perspective, so basically it has to be financially feasible. SMI also manage various donors to basically can help the projects to financially feasible, but the gap has to be relatively small. That's also the intention of the donors. Basically, they limit, for example, the gap funds is a maximum of $250 US. So if the gap to financially feasible is around that, so it can be utilized. So I think that's also the point. If the project is far from financially feasible, and it's really hard to be supported by the investment grant. Usually, at least they can support in the form of a study, feasibility study, etc. They still can support with those, but for investment grant, usually the gap has to be relatively small, so that their support can be bisa membuat project menjadi feasible. Next. Yeah, we might not be an expert on this, but tadi sudah beberapa juga disampaikan, perlu ada unused land supaya basically economic juga. Lalu juga ada karakteristik tanaman tertentu yang cocok untuk di-combine with solar agro. Ada pro cons juga, ada ini juga bisa create additional employment, of course. It aligns with Astacita. Agriculture juga represent 13% dari GDP. So the potential is there, but we are yet to see the financially visibly project. Next. Ya, beberapa commercial aspek yang perlu di-consider di financing. Capex requirement-nya besar. Tadi juga ini searah dengan luasan tanah per megawatt yang dihasilkan. Additional revenue juga bisa fluctuate kalau misalnya the business model is basically combine agri and solar PV. The agri might not be financially stable in the form of revenue. Tarif requirement juga might not be supported. Lalu insurance company juga untuk operational risk di bidang baru juga quite challenging. EPC technology or supplier guarantee juga may not be applicable if there is any additional activities in addition to only a solar PV activity. operation and technical need, of course, additional training, and also need operating procedure and standardize both agri and electricity making activities, because again, this has not been, at least to our experience, has not been any successful business model on combining both. Yeah. Next. Okay, thank you. That will be all. Thank you very much.
Terima kasih banyak Pak Adi. Pak Zainal, I understand that you probably have to leave before 4, so feel free to leave anytime you want. Thank you so much for your insights from PLN perspective. I think right now it's time to move to question and answer session. We want to finish on time, but I think we still have time for 1 or 2 questions from the audience. So if there's any question from the audience, this is the right time, because you have people from regulators, basically the PLN, ESDM, and PT SMI on the same stage, which I find quite rare. So fire away, and please ask question on Agri-PV. Any question from the audience? Yes. There's actually a mic.
Thank you. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for your explanations. Now, listening to you, I got a bit the feeling that all the 3 of you tended to underline the problems, and instead of searching for solutions. But Zainal saying that the farmer doesn't have the money to invest, I fully agree with you. The statement is absolutely correct. But it must not be the farmer himself who does the investment. There is various forms how that can be organized. There is solutions to the problem. That the need to understand the PV system by the farmer, that is not necessarily a precondition. There can be someone else who operates that. The farmer needs to have a business model. Does he get some money for it, that someone else puts up solar panels on his land? If he gets some money for it, he might be interested. The other one understands. The tricky part is the conflict of interest, where it comes about who gets how much light. That needs to be clearly defined between the 2 partners. Probably not regulated by the government. Usually when the government regulates something, then it's not really functioning so well anymore. So I hope that this discussion, or the statements we heard today, that this is only a very first step, and that here we start thinking about how can we solve that for Indonesia. There is other countries which have already started solving those problems. It can, for example, be in the interest of PLN in various situations that there would be some electricity generated by third parties under particular conditions. It would be interesting for PLN. When it comes to the government regulating things, typically it's rather about the need to deregulate than to regulate in Indonesia, if I may say, as from outside. When it comes to PT SMI, sure, you cannot deal with the individual farmer, but there might be a concept where a bigger company might set that up and you do some guarantee payment or a grant to help them get the whole thing off the ground. So I think there are possibilities. We just need to put more thinking into it, and the starting point needs to be that we all want to do something. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any response from PLN, PT SMI? Yes, go ahead, Pak.
Yeah, basically, if we would like to adopt such business model or technology, I think the best theory can be used is technology acceptance model. Yeah, that whatever technology can be accepted for customer if they have one benefit. One perceived of usefulness, and the second is perceived of effectiveness. So if this concept will give benefit for the stakeholder and make easier, maybe it's not not easy to apply. I think it will be accept for all stakeholder. For example, Gojek economic sharing business model. Why they still exist? Because the customer needed this. This is the solution for that. There is beneficial. They got beneficial for that, and not difficult to apply. If the PV Agri can answer this basic, beneficial and effective, not easy to apply, I think the market will accept this model. That's my answer.
Okay, sorry. I think from SMI perspective, since we are not only purely commercial, we also carry development role. So basically, at least for the PV in other business model, we show that we combine the blended finance. I think that's the solution that we have implemented. In this regard, for this new business model, I think since the donors' interest to support this is we under our platform. If there is any proposal, for example, to carry a study, feasibility study, I think that's something that open to be explored. Then we can route that to the donors so they can help to fund at least the in the pre-development stage.
Okay. I think from the regulatory perspective, when after from the electricity company, the market agrees of the business model and the finance is ready. From the regulatory perspective, our task is enabling enabling the condition. One of the most challenges is we don't accept the dual use the dual use of the land. So I think, but it can be approached with the regulatory framework. For example, where previously we don't know about the model of the floating PV because the dam is belongs to the Ministry of PUPR, Public Works. And then they established the regulation that they can accept about 5% of the areas can be occupied by solar PV, and then it goes to Cirata, and then now it expanded again up until 30%, if I'm not mistaken. So then, as presented by Pak Zainal, there are many PV floating PV following. I believe that this model also can be used for PV Agri because this is smaller scale, nearer to us, and also could be easier just when we know that the market, the business model can be accepted. Maybe the generic business model, whether about the land, whether about the crops, or whether about the supply chains, whether they can sell their crops into parties, and then they can get the benefit of it. I think the flow will continue, and the finance will ready, and the market will ready, and then following the enabling of the regulatory framework. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak. Oh, there's a response. Yes.
May I just add one point? For me, from my viewpoint, it's all about finding that win-win-win. We have PLN, we have the farmer, and we have a potential investor into solar PV. So from PLN's point of view,
the obvious one is those regions where you still produce electricity with diesel. Take those regions and start there, because there PLN has the win and can even pay a reasonable price for the kilowatt hour which is fed into the grid. And when the investor gets a bit of assistance through PT SMI, that might help it that it gets off the ground. And as long as the farmer gets a little bit of a profit share, he will be happy as well.
Thank you. I think win-win-win is definitely what we're looking for, that sweet spot. Before we come to the closing, is there any other question from the audience? If not, then I'd actually like to ask the panelists for just the last remarks before we're closing this session. And what do you think is the outlook for Indonesia for Agri-PV, and where do you think the opportunity is for your respective organization?
Yeah, so in short, basically, within our role and mandate, we try to maximize it, including to explore new business model. So in this case, perhaps the closest one is we try to utilize, maximize the donor platform to support this business model. And if it's ready for the financially feasible, and then ready for the financing stage. Thank you.
Yeah, I think the key is, the feasibility, both technically and financial feasibility. So the lender, the bank will welcome if the proposal, the business model is bankable. I think that's the key.
Thank you. I think, I believe that PV Agris had a promising future. Yeah, as long as it's all the parties working together, and then good business model, acceptable business model is the key. I think can be accepted by all of us, although from the bank, from the investors, from the farmers, and then also for the regulatory and every parties of it, and I believe that can be implemented since it's nearby, and then the outside and other countries can do it. Why cannot we? I think. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Terima kasih banyak Bapak-bapak dari PLN, ESDM, dan PT SMI untuk diskusinya di panel kedua ini. Terima kasih banyak. The audience, please give a round of applause for our speakers. Silakan. Terima kasih banyak. This marks the end of our second panel. There's a couple of conclusions that we can take from both panel 1 and panel 2. Number 1 is, for me, the importance of really looking into the techno-economic. On the technological side, we see that this is great opportunity because we're looking at the possibility of the nexus of food, water, and energy security. That's the triangle that we want, not only for the energy, but also for the food security side. We also see the role of AI and digitalization in really helping to spur the techno-economic side. Obviously, the question of the right business model is the puzzle to crack, and everyone needs to work together. There's also the need for the regulation and policy to support in creating not only enabling environment, but also an important environment where opportunity could grow. And how do government play the role of policy entrepreneur and really looking into the new alternative economy and pathways of growth. And last but not least, by the end of the day, the question is always about where's the money comes from. And this is where we need to make the pilot project works to prove the bankability and feasibility of the project, so that on the financing side, we could close the gap of feasibility that always become the main source of worries from the investors and from the lenders. But if we can combine this business model, bankability, techno-economic, and also the element of just transition, Agri-PV could really forge the path forward for both food and energy resilience in Indonesia. I'm Winnie Rizkiningayu, and I'm signing off as your moderator. I'm going to give the control back to the MC. Thank you and have a good afternoon.
Terima kasih banyak kepada seluruh pembicara kita yang luar biasa dan juga kepada moderator kita, Ibu Winnie. Semoga acara pada hari ini memberikan insights kepada seluruh peserta, baik yang secara langsung hadir di sini maupun bergabung via Zoom. Dan seluruh presentasi yang dipaparkan dapat diakses melalui Google Drive. Silakan scan QR code di depan ini untuk mendapatkan materi maupun atau presentasi yang dipaparkan. So on behalf of the organizing teams, RESD and AESI, we thank you again and we wish you a productive and energizing week ahead. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.